the take-home messages. What we have on the program is an introduction of guests. And I'm actually wondering who the guests are. I don't know who the guests are. Maybe I should introduce myself. Because I want to be that every single person seated here, indirectly or directly, has a link with the Department of Physiotherapy University of Ibadan. I am an indirect alumni, or alumni, or alumnus. I don't know which one is the correct name. I'm an indirect alumni. Yeah, indirect. Indirect alumni. It is when we had the welcome reception, there was a booklet of the names of the alumni of this university. And precisely, the names of the individuals, those that had an appointed degree from the University of Ibadan. So, it's okay, I really do not mind. Has a lecturer in the Department of Physiotherapy University of Ibadan. So, we'll just get started. The HOD is not here to give us his opening remarks. I guess when he comes in, we'll just do justice to that. I want to appreciate every one of you that is sitting. My mama, Dr. Kipelu, Dr. Fatidimu, Mrs. Atige Anita, Mrs. Kike Yomo, Akobatele. Thank you so much. And Dr. Demi, all the way from Ibadan. So, all the way from Lagos. What I had in mind really was who came to you to have a postgraduate training, we'll have them in one side. But as it is, I think we don't do what we have. So, we're going to have the first presentation with myself and Dr. B.O. We are covering this session. He's actually the chairman of the committee for the scientific session for this program. So, right away, there's going to be a slight adjustment in the program that we have, and I crave your indulgence to please accept this. I'm going to call on Dr. B.O. the potent chairman again of the Physiotherapy Alumni Association, to tell us what is expected of this program and what is expected of us all. Thank you. Dr. B.O.
Like Dr. said, this is supposed to be a very, very informal session. Yesterday we had a guest amongst us. Today is supposed to be a meeting, a family meeting. What we intend to do today is to review the last 50 years. So we have this program in some kind of 2 sessions. The first session, we have a set of presenters that will look at different aspects of the department. For instance, we have somebody looking at the infrastructural evolution of the department. We have somebody looking at curriculum evolution. We have somebody looking at student output. We have somebody looking at participation in activities of the University of Ibadan. Now this, we hope, will stimulate interest, and that at the end of it all, we'll be able to look at those things that you have done well, those things that have not been so well done, so that looking forward in the next 50 years, we can take the right steps so that we can be at a better position. We had very big plans for this morning event. Unfortunately, we are not encouraged, but we are not totally disappointed. Now, what we intended doing was to have people in decades of graduation, so that we have people that graduated in the first decade, people that graduated in the second decade, third decade, fourth decade, and fifth decade. And that way we can now have representatives from each of those decades to relay the experience while they were in school. That way people can follow the evolution. Unfortunately, when I look around this room, yes, I can somebody from my own decade. I could see a few other people. So I would say we should start this by first trying to see when people graduate. So I would say if you graduated in the first decade, that's between 1966 and 1976, can you please stand up for recognition? Okay. They are yet to be here. Okay. So between 1976 and 86, 76 and 86.
Those who are born then.
If you graduated between 1976 and 86, please let us know you. We want to recognize you. Are you forgotten when you graduated? Well, I happen to graduate in 1977. And I know I have a classmate in the eye who is refusing to be recognized. Dr. Adirunke Akinkwemi, Omambonike, please stand up for recognition. Stand up. Stand up. You know, I'm the chairman of this occasion, so you stand up. Follow instructions. Yes. Yes, if you graduated between 1986 and 1996, please, let's see you. So our HOD belongs to the third decade. And 2006, if you graduated between 1996 and 2006. Thank you, thank you, thank you, we appreciate you. Thank you. And if you graduated between 2006 and 2015, please stand up for recognition. Very encouraging. Very encouraging. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Now, this is the way to go. Well, I'm going to start from the last set of people.
Well, my experience in the University of Ibadan, I was admitted to the University of Ibadan precisely in 2008, and if I can remember correctly, I think we were 23. So we started in 100 level with 53 units, if I'm correct. But along the line, we saw our colleagues in MBBS and dentistry, they were filling 42 units. And we're like, wow, why is physiotherapy 53 when we are 52? Now let's look at the higher psychology, statistics, and the computer science. We now understood the fact that we have to run extra miles. But after 100 level, out of 23 of us, only 13 survived. Only 13 were able to cross over the 200 level. The rest of the 10, either physics, either zoology, either those 113 damaged their aspirations. And the 200 level, according to Professor Soya, some people jumped the middle. They crossed over and became 26. And it was tough actually because you had to run from anatomy to psychology to statistics again, and it was wonderful. It was a tough experience because I could remember our anatomy. In fact, they were already teaching us thorax and abdomen, and we couldn't get dissected lower limbs, but we survived. And we came to 300 level. We saw our curriculum that we had to short between the university and the University College Hospital. It was also tough, but at the end, we survived. We were able to cross the clinical units. And plus pharmacology for everything, it was wonderful. 400 level, the toughest, because of the loads of work we had to do. About 60-something units, and by the grace of God, some of us also survived. And in 500 level, we bless God. And the clinical training too was wonderful. In fact, some of my colleagues, my intern colleagues that trained in other schools, they used to admire us because some of them have never even entered the ICU before. I had one of my colleagues tell me that the first time he entered the ICU was an university college hospital. But we had that experience since 300 that was started our clinical training. So we are exposed to a lot of things. And I can remember my colleague also appreciating the fact the bond that exists between lecturer and students is powerful. Remarkable. Because sometimes our lecturers come to the clinic and they joke with us, talk to us, advise us. They are like, wow, is this what exists between you guys? And another thing is that some of our colleagues outside the University of Ibadan are wowed about the infrastructure that exists in the University of Ibadan. Because most of them, they don't have a purpose-built building. In fact, some people thought that the only lecture hall that we have is at this new physiotherapy center. Until I told one of them that we still have a PLC there, where we can make noise and wonderful and remarkable. Thank you very much.
I told you earlier, I want you to sit down, relax, okay, and enjoy this meal that is being served us today. So right away, another adjustment to the program that we have. Rather than have paper presentation 1, please I make the indulgence to have paper presentation 5 by Dr. Debbie, because it has to travel back Oluwa Femi or Debbie from the University of Wales.
Unfortunately, it should have been protocol. So I'm just on your own. So I'm just trying my best to talk to my eyes, and then for my eyes to talk to my mind. The HOD Professor Atas, I want to recognize you. To particularly thank you for bringing me all the way from Lagos. I said I will just come. I have 2 programs that are very, very important for me to stay back in Lagos, but I have to excuse myself to be here. Also, we want to thank my mama. You know, when you have a mama, you don't have any problem. Dr. I'm grateful for what I'm able to impact in me. I was telling somebody, I said, I'm now seeing the similarity between myself and Dr. Hinkle. I also want to thank Sweet Daddy. Anytime I was stuck with my supervisor, I know where to go. If I have problems with my mom, I know where to go. I can solve immediately. Sweet Daddy, thank you, God bless you in Jesus' name. I also want to thank everyone, all the lecturers, as Shola, I thank God for the life and all the other lecturers. And I want to thank all the students. I want to thank you for this program that you are putting in place. I also want to recognize my classmates, Doni. That's my classmates, you know. I was our classmates. Well, thank you. I was trying to wait for the 90 people. Now, I have tried to, sorry, I'm going to waste your time, but I want to really tell you my experience here. I had my master and my PhD degree here. I want to tell you my experience. Please, just pardon me, forgive all the diamonds and then flow with me. I'm sure you will gain a lot. I've titled it, Ibadan Physiotherapy Wiki Program, the experience of the pioneer. Next slide, please. Then I will present it in this format. Next slide, please. Well, I'm just going through this one. I know you know it, but I'm just going to remind us these 3, the meaning of these 3 words. Particularly the 3rd one. And that is the one that actually brought me here. Next slide, please. Then who is the pioneer? According to that dictionary, he is a person who helped create or develop new ideas. Can you beat that by the providence of God, I, Physiotherapy, was among people that helped to build the PG program of the University of Ibadan. That's how I know, yeah. That's what the dictionary said that I am. Is that a person or group who originated or helped open a new line of thoughts? PG program was a new line of thought here. And I felt already by the goodness of God. And the power here. There was an experience, it's a skill, a knowledge that one gets by doing something. And then I acquired knowledge and skill while I'm here. I'm going to tell you those things. Let's try this. Now, what is postgraduate education? My uncle, Professor Odebi, was once professor here before he went to Achipa University Law and became the VC there. When I came in for my master's, he said, "This is a shade." I said, "Uncle, what do you mean?" He said, "You have your first degree, you have your job, you collect your salary, you now decide to come out of the job for another degree." I hate you, simply. But he didn't give me there. He now said, "You do not do masters without doing your PhD." I heard on my my left hand, and that was the thing that actually prepared me to break through all the forces that were against my getting PhD. So next slide, please. That's what postgraduate education is. It's the education that you do after your first degree school. So I've just said what a GQ is. Then as I proceed on my experience, you will agree with me that of the truth, PG program is a GQ. Although it wasn't one for that matter. Now I started teaching before I gained admission to the university. I thought in anything, uncle, this boy beats me, auntie, this boy beats me. And we do it from 8 to 12. I was always praying for 12, for that 12 to just come. But auntie, this one beats me, and uncle, I want to be with you. I did that for 2 years. I started teaching long time ago. Next slide, please. Then I continue while in the university. As a matter of fact, I sponsor my university education previous units. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I was already outside teaching. You know, those rich people, children, you know, that's what I'm doing. Just teach them 2 hours and give you something, put in your pocket. I also continue with anatomy, teach your juniors. You know, the fellowship group is able to teach them anatomy. If I'm telling like, I got my classmates, she's going to tell you. You teach them anatomy, you know, you guys very good anatomy, you teach them. I teach a long time ago. And by God's providence, I became one of the pioneers of the first robust Physiotherapy PG program in Nigeria. Now, I didn't put that word because I graduated from this place. That's the truth. The first most robust PG program. And that was why the following year, when they discovered that it was a reality, everybody rushed out. But at the beginning, we were just 9 candidates. Because they didn't think it would, they thought it's a garage. You know, if we are trying to solve pool of water, and here there's no pool of, they thought it was a garage. But when the following year, when they discovered that it was a garage, everybody just rushed in. Because they compared with what that master player. I don't want to mention that university. I come to this university and then start something that is not it. Next slide, please. Next slide. No, let's go back. Can we go back? I said I can complete correctly. Okay, I said that. Okay, next slide. My admission was a bit very funny. I told you that my uncle was a lecturer here. So I used his address as my contact address. So when the department wanted to send my admission letter, they sent it to my uncle. And that's my uncle. I only saw him when I came in to apply for. Nobody just said that some of them be in this university. So I went to meet him. And the guy does not know how to contact me. So for 4 weeks, lecture has been going on, I will go away. Funny, I won't tell you who called me. I wrote the following day. I I just left my office the following day and I came to join. So I want to really, okay, I said I later got to know that lecture started with Professor Sawyer, followed by Dr. Akinpelu. Under lecturers, Professor Unade. If you look at this lecture, the lecturer, you discover that it's only one unit that actually started the program, orthopedic, sports, and recreational physiotherapy. The other unit that started at PhD level, and that's Professor Hamza. Best Professor Hamza, yes. Professor Hamza. But the first master program that started is the late Dr. Degede and so preach. Yes, I understand it, yes. Next slide. I follow my teacher, so. Next slide. Yeah. Now, I'm sure you recognize this picture. This was when Professor Sawyer gave the faculty lecture. Now, if you look through there, you count all the 9 people that were involved in the program in the first set. You see all of us, can see Ogayomi there. You can see Shola there, he's in King's College now. You can see Shola there, we can smile, ever smiling. You can see Ogayomi there, you can see everybody. That lady beside Professor Sola was our classmate at former Miss Adelibi. That lady was a Tasha. When you say my Tasha, she was a Tasha. Next slide, please. Now, 9 of us were the pioneers of the Physiotherapy program in UI. We were homogeneous. We are just orthopedic, sports, and recreational physiotherapy. No other. We were very selective. I don't know how Professor Sawyer, Dr. Akinpelu did it now. I don't know, but we were very selective. Just that unit. Then the reading formula there was: if you had 2 hours to read, you spend 1 hour 30 minutes for power statistics. And spend 30 minutes for the rest. That is if you like yourself, as you want to pass. You will still have, for the whole of the day, you have 2 hours. You will spend 1 hour 30 minutes for power statistics, and then 30 minutes for the rest. But let me tell you, I spent more than 1 hour 30 minutes. You know why? Because they have started lecture 4 weeks. Let me make a little conversion. I managed to score 50 in power statistics. But when I saw it, I said, 50 or whatever, I said, I don't agree with you. Because they almost need the lecture, and you know it's mathematics, and you cram a formula in your head. Those ones. But you see, this thing has to change. My student went to Sceintific University to do masters. By the time the guy came back, he was proficient in SPSS, in FPInfo, in Strata. But here in Nigeria, they will pack your head with formulas and expect to pour down like a pour, like a pour. But give you the laptop to work. No way. Sir, I think the new way forward now is that every master student that comes here was proficient in FPInfo and either Strata or SPSS. Not the practical, not the theory aspect. You will be able to work on them. You are able to do all this yourself. I think change has come now. Next slide, please. Now, second semester, that was the end of the first semester. Second semester, when it appeared that the program went into comatose, plateau, after the second semester examination, and there seemed to be no hope for completing the program on Plateau. So we embarked on a save our soul journey to the residence of Professor Sawyer. Guess who led us? Don't change yet. Who can guess who led us? Okay, you're not already laughing. That was our leader. He was doing this PhD then. He was our leader. So let's start this. So that is okay. Go back. Please go back. So we went there, and what was our mission? We went to tell her that we are tired of the program, we are no more interested, and we are backing out. And you know, Prof was already getting serious with our point. He was saying, hey, how can you say that? You have done the first semester, you have done the second semester. No, you cannot back out. No, and your guy was not smiling. He said, no, man, we are not interested again. second semester, nobody attending to us, nothing. Okay, be patient. And as we're doing it, our daughter then missed tutu. So I was already preparing to love rice. I was hearing the aroma. So before we say that not missing, the whole place is really to love rice. And fish, fresh fish, you know. So when we downloaded the rice, I said, okay now, okay now, maybe we are interested now. Yeah, but what is happening now? Somebody tell us something. Next slide. Now during the second semester, in the bid to get one, I showed the names of our lecturers. They were all professors. In the bid to get one, get out as the first, as the pioneer, we had to make a journey to Ile-Ife for our manual therapy. I used to tell people, I say, look, I've gone through Mackenzie, I've gone through Gera Technique, even though Professor Onga refused to certificate anybody. For him to talk to me and say, do this, and he gave me first one, and I wrote the exam, and I passed, what certificate do I need again? I'm reading certificate. So that's the late Professor Onga. And all of us, except one person, if you count there, you will count, don't count Dr. Ibu, that's the man. It's not one of us. But we count every other person, there's only one person that is not there. But this is not the part, these are the pioneer people that started the program. Let's try this. Sorry, before you go, I'm sure you have seen myself there. And then that time. That's what you do because you do this. I know. Next slide. Okay, I've said this. I said now Dr. P. Wadeloke led the delegation and spoke on our behalf, and the message was very simple. They are no longer interested. And like I said, God was taking us serious. Even though we are serious, but we are not that dead serious. I mean, I can finish first person and say I'm not interested. Our enemy is very true. But we're just trying to pull our legs and then. But she took us very serious. So I can just come. She took us very serious and then she calmed us down and then gave us your love right. That's the most important part. To cool down ourselves. Next slide. What we were seeing on our African magic stuff with Professor Sawyer, he then have said that the then to now came up with the love right and then we positively rejected that thing. That's what I said, we positively rejected. You know what is positive? Somebody said to know your HIV status, you are either positive or negative. But you are saying everybody is positive. Can you positive be positive or positive be negative? Any way that you take it. They were possibly rejected, but at the end of the day, we all discovered that the planes were made in China. Do you know what that one is? We cleared the rice, so we saw the logo that the plane was made in China. Next one, please. Now, final oral examination and graduation. Now, we had like I said, we have a environmental exam. We have outside exam, other department. Then we have other departmental exam like KHE, medical sociology. Then we have another exam, our final oral at Professor PCB who has put it at home. Because the then usually wanted us to have best hand. So whoever the pioneer a professor of physiotherapy. I'm not half big, but you know they that's why in Lagos, we have a lecturer, they can't joke with me. When you're wrong, and if they get joke with me, then I will tell them who I am. Do you know who I am? Who are you? Do you know who I am? Next slide, please. None of us, like I said, founded the master program. Why two? Now listen to this. I said two. P.O. Adekoke and TK Hamza founded the MPhil PhD program. Are could not complete. Akintayo and Odole changed to part-time. I'm telling you why the 9 of us did not finish in time. Then Banke Adedibe was involved in a traffic accident. Now God saved our life. That was my class rep. He got married. All of us went to the right picture or where we went there. All of us went there. We were coming back to Ibadan. They were going to Ilorin, and they were involved in a traffic accident. I want to tell you that almost every one of us that came from Lagos had a road traffic. Or after I was with my wife, I was pregnant, and I don't know what happened. The car was down. My first car started 3 times. But you know, God has a way of catering for himself. The man driving behind us, as I became friend to me, when I came for the fellowship program, I called the pastor, Pastor my son, and he came. The man finally asked people in his car to come down, and took us in his car to my friend's hospital in Lagos. The guy said he saw the car, so I saw him. He now slowed down and was watching the African magic. But he's now already landed. Now that's here alive. Okay, he took us. There was one Elijah. She's in England now. That's the as for almost break. Doctor Taylor had accident. In fact, I want to say from today I'll be driving to Ibadan. Almost all of us. And that was why when I joined the academia of the University of Lagos, the first thing that I pulled up was PhD program. And today I'm going to tell you that we also have replicated in another robust PhD program, master program, PhD program in the University of Lagos. Sorry?
Not that robust.
Not that robust.
So like I said, so I will not complete. I think I am already changed to PT. That's Antishola. I'm talking about Antishola. Apparently, I said, the 5 of us finally graduated. It wasn't easy from 5 by 2000, by the year 2000, only 5 of us. Right? And God made that I definitely one of them. And these are the 5 people. Mama said 5 plus 1. Can you see 1? Can you see 1? 5 plus 1. And I want to tell you today that all of us now have a PhD. This time, all of us have a PhD. I'm not sure of the other Star Wars, whether you already know. I don't know the status. But I want to tell you that these people, the other guy is in King's College, I'm in Lagos. The lady there in Lagos is now our present HOD. Dr. Dr. Lalimo is that the HOD in Kenya, and I'm sure you know Mackenzie himself. Alright, let's start this. Now, I said the picture I showed you earlier on was taken after our final oral examination. But on November 17, 2000, only 2 of us showed up for the graduation. You see me, I don't miss that kind of thing. I give God glory in every step of my life. So I was there together with my oga. That man I see there is my very oga. We finished 1980 something and finished 90 something. This man is my very oga. And you can see the 2 of us hanging between the 2 giants of the program. Honestly, if you talk about it, was very good at the University of Ibadan. There are 2 giants that all of us rely on, Professor Sawyer and Dr. Akinkwelu. So that person is an adoration. These people pay the price for us. You tell the person, thank you, I know I trust you. Next slide, please. Now, these are veterans, that are rejoicing with us. One thing about the family is that everybody is a family. You can see, I think it was former driver here, always with the staff. And then you can see your HOD. Can you see your HOD? Looking your picture, right? That is your HOD, that is your Professor Amsar. And then that's the 2 of us again. We went to see the HOD and said, Aboreo, Adishe, Terowa. Aboreo, Adishe, Terowa. Next slide. Now, let me say that there are two categories of pioneers, master and then PhD. Professor Amzad, now Professor Amzad was the first PhD candidate. In conclusion, efforts were made for us to have best hands. I'm telling you, Professor Okulade, Professor Tofeluge, the CMD now with supervisor. Can you imagine? I want to say that I will just say that I say I'm not to finish it. I'm not asking me that for that. If you don't do it, I'm sorry. You don't like yourself. Then late Dr. David, then Professor Amoshika. His own arrow does not do it. No, we had the best hands. That's why I said that these two people pay the price for us. They are want to tell, like I said again, thanks to Professor Sawyer and then Dr. Akinpelu. Today we can see the transformation in the department now. That is one of the power. Yes. Well, maybe I was wrong. Somebody told you. Okay, it's alive. Okay. That's why when I was told, if you look at the name put legs there, because I was not sure myself. That's why I did not put legs there. Because the man was the one that taught me the principle of ISO. And not the tomorrow activity. You know what ISO means? ISO, illness. When they say Uju Kokuru, so there is one hand in your eyes that is making one to steal. That woman was the one that taught me, and I'm looking at the thing for somebody's eyes, you know, like that. Before I don't touch myself, I said, man, this is just for to pass through. Pass through exam and go away. Just leave this mind go. So, like I said, today we have we can see the transformation. Now we have how many PhD? All the lecturers now have PhD. In those days, in Ibadan, 2, in Lagos, 1. But now in Lagos, almost all of us now have PhD. That is the power of postgraduate program. Okay, let us give it to Professor Dr. Mama, please let me run that, please. See, please, I have to run that, sir. Please, next slide. Well, I want to do this for more than 1 year, and that's Dr. Olúwafẹ́mi Fẹ́mi Daniel Odedi.
Having narrated his experience at the Department of Physiotherapy University of Ibadan, doing the postgraduate training program, there were so many twists and so many turns that have gotten this far. I want to recognize Professor S.L. Alonso. Alumni lecture. Thank you.
still a novice. Longest lasting novice I've ever seen. 39 years after graduation, is still a novice. Thank you for teaching us that we are all still novices.
Presentation will be given by Dr. Adeloke Omobolike Akikaru, titled Physiotherapy Curriculum Development in Ibadan. Enjoy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon? So that you can see me because I'm not top.
No, I'm not looking at that.
When Dr. was talking, I said, oh, I wish you were here yesterday to have listened to a professor who still remains a novice. We were classmates. Don't mind his shaving his head so clean. Yes, I was asked to talk about the development, curriculum development. At the beginning, when this training program started in Ibadan, the curriculum was fashioned after the old British curriculum, typical curriculum, that was based on subjects. And I want to say that at that time, most curricula in the university were also fashioned this way. So, you take the subject throughout the session and you have a single examination in each subject at the end of the session. So we used to call it Almighty June exam. Now, the curriculum at that time, preliminary year was not really taken as part of the curriculum per se. Only selected students who passed the particular exam could come in through the preliminary year. Most admissions were through direct entry after your A-levels, and most of us came in through that. So what you refer to as 200 level was referred to at that time as first year. The first year, after in the preliminary year, those who came in through preliminary year had basic sciences, zoology, physics, and what again? Chemistry. Thank you. And then first year was anatomy, biochemistry, and physiology. Okay, and then second year was the first clinical year, which focused on two subjects. First subject was electrotherapy. Second subject was massage, exercise therapy, and kinesiology pulled together. And you had only one examination at the end of session. And the final year, the third year, we registered for only one subject: physiotherapy, treatment of all medical and surgical conditions by all aspects of physiotherapy. One subject. So that was how it ran for so many years. The problem with that curriculum was recognized when the second set of leaders took over the department, and we started breaking subjects down into courses. So we were teaching students on the basis of the courses, but because it wasn't the breaking down of subjects or courses was not really a revision that was that passed through the normal channel up to the University Senate. The transcripts of our graduates still remained like the old system. So it wasn't reflecting the effort put into teaching them. And I remember Dr. Adegoke telling me his experience in the US when he went for his MSc degree program. He was told, don't register for so many courses, just register for 2, because that was the impression the transcript created. And after the first semester exam, they had to come apologizing to you. We're very sorry, we didn't know you did that much. So that was the problem with that. So, and during that period, there were many changes that were not really official. Then, towards the end of 1980s, the university, I think maybe 89, between 89 and 1990, the university called for general review of curricula in response to the NUC new definitions of professional and non-professional degree programs. And the real change was that the professional course must run for at least 5 years, and non-professional courses would run for 4 years. If you remember, it was at that time that agreed changed from 4 years to 5 years, and all programs in engineering changed to 5 years. We also did. Our program was reviewed, and in revising BSc Physiotherapy degree, we're now changed to Physiotherapy degree program. The major change was the preclinical year was increased from 2 semesters to 3 semesters, and then the clinical period was increased from 4 semesters to 5 semesters. Okay? And then, in addition to that major change, and the change was not so easy, is Reverend Jaismi here. Jaismi will bear with me that we had a lot of problem with a particular Indian lecturer in anatomy. When we approached him and we said we wanted to change, now you want to change students to be changing to a MBBS, that was his perception. So we had a lot of hurdles to cross over, but we managed. Then, before then, that was the period of Exodus. That's lectures, and the system is that we don't have luxury of lecturers, so we couldn't bring any here to lecture only your class. You understand the problem. So that was why we had to include those courses. It was in response to some queries we received from those organizations. Because we are training not only to meet local needs, but we want you to also be globally relevant. So that was why we included them. And another major change in that big physiotherapy curriculum was that it became unclassified. I would not be able to explain the reason, but we probably thought that becoming unclassified will make the course more professional. Looking back from hindsight, I don't think that was very wise, because really professionalism does not lie in the degree you have as such. And that is the point that Professor Wilson was trying to tell us. It is a process. It is what you make out of it in life, and not really whether it is B or BSc. Okay? Even though he remains a novice, I think he has learned a lot and is the professional by excellence. Don't mind him. Okay, so we thought making it an unclassified degree will make it appear more professional. But I think looking back, we are not quite right. And we call it now modified course system. Lot of problems. One, the end of preclinical results had to be taken during this, at the end of first semester 300 level, when the university system is not used to taking results as such. So we had to run from one department to another department begging for students' results, and usually the results will not be taken until almost the beginning of second semester exam, and students who are not able to meet the criteria to cross to clinical, they will have to go back after spending almost a semester studying at second semester 300 level. It was a problem. So the program, this curriculum was approved by the Senate of the University of Ibadan in 1991. Okay? Unfortunately, again, the program, the 5-year program, Physiotherapy program, was not advertised in JAM curriculum until 1996. And the first set of students to be admitted on the program came in 1997. You can imagine what would have happened. So many courses included on the original 1991 curriculum have disappeared in many departments. They have changed. So again, we had to do some modifications that were not really official because the division did not pass through the system. In addition to that, some past deans of the Faculty of Basic Sciences organized some modification. They came up with some committees to look at the criteria because many students were failing, they could not cross, and so there were many changes that were not really official. But the program went on. Actually, taking end of preclinical stage results was always a headache for who was the head of the department. There would be debate on this criterion, that criterion, and it went on and on. And then in 2014? No, 2011, the new program. the university called again for a general review of all its curricula. And this time around, we highlighted the department the problems of the initial 1991 Physiotherapy degree program or curriculum. One, the problem of taking results midstream was the major problem. Two, we went around other departments, and one feedback we got from departments in the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, especially Department of Anatomy, was that the moment our students realize that they have met the criteria to move to clinical year, they stop attending classes. So that was a major problem. So based on all this, we set about reviewing the curriculum. And then another thing that we consider was the experience of a group of our graduates who were to be interviewed. Why? Because the panel of interviewers could not interpret their transcripts in the international language. They couldn't compare their transcripts with those from other universities because they were not written in international. There were so many courses. All the scores were in percentages. So it's difficult. So we recognize the fact that our student results must be written in the language that is understood by all authorities at international level. So this time we changed to full course credit system. Let me also share the way a former vice chancellor described the modified course system that we were running. He said it was pretending running course system while holding on to the old system. That was the way. In fact, he was reporting it to the registrar of the university. He said, Mama, what is talking about course system? You know, and that was the truth. When my second daughter was graduating, I sat close to a father of a graduate of this program, and when students were coming down after the man realized I was a physiotherapy lecturer. He then turned to me and said, Madam, I need to share my experience with you. The trouble I went through before my son could get admitted into a university in the UK was terrible. Again, that tells you that there was problem interpreting our transcripts in international. So based on all this, that the new curriculum has been revised. It is now fully course credit system. Still 5 years. All results are to be taken at the end of each session. No midstream taking of results, and all courses that you take are important. Let me also tell you one thing. The way we were computing results, BSc, 20% of what you do, the computation is that all that you do at the preclinical level forms 20% of your result. And what you do at clinical year forms 80%. That was how we were computing it. But the new system, that was the PSCO, not the second one, the second stage, no classification. Then this new one, there's no receipt examination again, and all the courses you take from 100 confidence level will be considered in computation of your final result, and we use the CGPA. Okay, so all your scores will be translated to grade point, and at the end of each semester, your cumulative grade point average will be calculated. So that is where we are. I also want to say that we have, in the interim, included some courses because we realize the change, the expansion of physiotherapy practice from being a second contact practice to primary health practice. So we have included in the curriculum clinical reasoning and diagnosis. We have included courses on pain, on disability. Then there's another course, clinical anatomy and physiology, that when fresh graduate comes from preclinical, from Faculty of Basic Medical Science, we want to have an overview of anatomy and physiology for them to be able to perceive the relevance of the courses they have taken at the preclinical level to clinical application. And the new set of students are taking the course. The course is now being anchored by Reverend Chayesini. So those are the major changes in the new curriculum. And I really envy the new set of students, but like any guinea pig set, they are experiencing some difficulties which I hope will become a thing of the past in the near future. I'm sorry my presentation has no slides. The chairman or the Dr. Adegoke advised me I could do it without any slides. So please, I want to apologize for that. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Of curriculum over the last 50 years.
I'm talking about I can see an alumni too. With an alumnus, okay? An alumnus in the posting of Kulsum. She wasn't here yesterday, but I can see her. Kulsum, you are very much welcome. Thank you for coming. One of our presenters too, who was there yesterday, I can see him.
No, listen, guy, he's happy. The lecturer will come here now, he'll be happy. Be happy? Are you intimidating me or what? I'm saying be happy. Is he bad to be happy? Okay, I'm happy. Yes, you have the assignment, you're happy.
They go to my class.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. You can imagine.
Sir, there is no access for computer, sir. Like just one computer for the whole Ibadan city.
I will not listen to stories like this.
Sir, we have done it, sir.
In our last class, we talked about abnormal gait pattern. And I am very excited today. You know what? The assignment I gave you was to go to the library, read on books, look at the gait pattern, understand them, come to class today and practicalize all of it. I hope you are excited as I am excited today because there will be lots of development and hemiplegic going on today. So please, I would like to, let's come out. Stand up. You will come and show to your mates the indelible gate. Changeable, I want you all to mark out the, landmarks. Understand what it means to be changeable to gate. And when you do so, you'll be physiotherapists. Great learning.
Please, stop changeable.
Madam, you are lost. I said you should understand what I showed class. Changeable. Look. I don't think the gate needs any introduction. Just show it to us. Okay. Show us the scissors gate. Madam, show us the scissors gate.
I checked the book.
Come and stand here. Please, Mr. John, come and show this class. Scissors gate. Show it to them. Exactly. You see? Good. Exactly. That is the scissors gate. I will not want to go into the anatomical definition of what this is all about. I'm sure you have all read it in your textbook. Sir, I do not listen to stories like this. Moving on. The hemiplegic gate. Anybody? The rots in our society. Hemiplegic gate. You are still sleeping. Did you not hear me? I do not listen to stories like this. Stand up. Madam, will you stand up? Front. Do not resist me. I want you to show this class what hemiplegic gate is all about. Once again, class, look, observe, take note of the positioning. What are you waiting for? Exactly, good. Do it. Yes. This is what we are talking about, but not close to it. Please, Mr. John, help us. It's not there. You show them hemiplegic gate. Do you understand? We have all talked about this condition. And I want you to have intricate knowledge of what it's about. I told you, go out there. There are many people with all these gates around. Look at them, observe. Go to the library, read, learn, practicalize. You will not. You will sleep in my class. I don't listen to stories like this. Today we'll be talking about electrotherapy. I will not define. You will go to the library and find the definition. Do you understand? There are textbooks all over in the library. Read them. Come to class. Next week, you will practicalize for me. Do you understand? I am excited. Very excited. Yes, can I help you? Have you all done our Ghana registration?
Sir, there's a problem. Sir, I don't know how Mr. John found it. All the pages in the library books are torn, sir.
Torn? And used by who?
Sir, I don't know, sir. But
why?
Sir, we could not.
My friend, I do not listen to stories like this. Please sit down. The assignment is simple. Define electrotherapy. Come next week and we will look at it. We will discuss it. And we will practicalize. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All these things, you have to have intricate knowledge about it. Shortwave diathermy, microwave diathermy, ultrasound, no, ultrasound. All of them, you have to know about them. You do not have this ability yet, but you need to understand the physics about it and be able to use it when will come and describe and practicalize the abnormal gait pattern that I gave you as assignment last week. Next week, there's an exam. I'm sure you are wondering, how can I set an exam outside the school curriculum, Abi? I can do it! I will do it! Exam next week. It is formative, and you answer to it on the day of your graduation. Okay, I have better things to do. Like, for example, have lunch with the VC, discuss with the G. Or more importantly, you can sit here and discuss with sleeping students like you. Assignment next week. Practical next week. Exam next week. Class dismissed. See, you don't have to do this. Let me teach you these things. It's very easy.
No, wait.
I will not just teach like that.
He likes coming too much. He likes coming the prof. He likes coming. Sure, you are better, Abi. I'm leaving you people.
Do you want me to
Exam next week.
Exam.
Practical next week. You are still coming for two.
Hey,
Exam next week.
your failure.
My failure. My failure.
This gait pattern.
You look at the groups of those that are affected.
I'm going. Bye-bye.
Where you are going?
Bye-bye.
No problem.
Evil that now have. They only rely on if a student or somebody has a contact, somebody outside the country that has a test, and they only rely on maybe just one student in the midst of 12 students to get resources to facilitate their learning. Thank you. We will now have another presentation by Professor Tanhatu Kolapo. That we will be giving us a presentation on appraisal of infrastructure and science in physiotherapy.
Final year students, you submit projects on Monday, not Friday. That's the bonus. I greet my teachers yesterday. I also recognize my mates and my colleagues. I've been instructed by the facilitator of these segments, that's Dr. Bira, to make these which obviously this is not key. I'm not the best candidate to give it, but I'll try. I'm supposed to talk on evolution in the value in terms of infrastructure and academic staff or staff in general. As we developed severally, the idea of starting physiotherapy as a program actually started sometime in October 19. So it's a historical perspective. Please, as you're finding yourself, especially when you're a graduate student, going to write some of these things down, it will come out in the exam. I'm sure. It was in October 1957 that there was an invitation of one S.M. Evans, who was the Vice Chairman of Council of Chartered Society of Physiotherapy, by the Nigerian government, then with a view to establishing physiotherapy program at the university level. And the whole essence was to make sure that they produce more therapies to cater for the needs of the growing population of Nigerians needing physiotherapy. After the visit by this lady, there was another letter that emanated from Chief Sir Manuel, who was Chief Medical Advisor to the federal government, to the House Governor of the state. In those days, there was House Governor, who was the Patah see establishing training officers who is of blessed memory now. So in 1963, the professional committee was set up by the Board of Management of UCH to advise on curriculum. In 1964, March 1964, the Board of Faculty of Medicine, then there was no College of Medicine, there was Faculty of Medicine, University of Ibadan met and adopted a motion for establishment of a 3-year degree program to train physiotherapists in this country. In 1964, the Senate of the University of Ibadan, on the recommendation of that panel, agreed that there should be establishment of a degree program. This was communicated to the Dean of Faculty of Medicine, then, Professor Edozen. I think Professor Edozen later became the Papa of Obuashuku in present Delta State. So in 1965, a committee comprising representatives of the University of Ibadan, UCH, and nursing department met to consider the implication of starting nursing degree program and physiotherapy degree program. It wasn't until April 1966 that the Board of Management of UCH and UI unanimously agreed to support the Bachelor of Science degree program in physiotherapy. So in 1966, the first set of students were interviewed and admitted. But only 2 students out of the 5 students that were offered admission actually showed up. And the 2 students are Dr. Godwin Eni and late Colonel D.S. Egbedi. Those are the 2 students that turned up out of the 5 that were recommended. That's as far as the issue of admission was concerned. The highest that we had was a class that graduated in 2001. That was the year that we graduated 68 students. And that is the highest so far in the history of the department. But what was it like in terms of facility? Let's talk about that. In the early years of physiotherapy degree training program in this place, there was no facility. Now we have a classroom, we have at least 1 classroom in excess, right? We have the 2 new ones that are in the new department. We have the PRT, and that is care of quality, and then we have the postgraduate. But we sometimes also make use of the gyms. That is a practical class. So unlike what we have now, in the olden days, according to what we have in our records, we were making use of lecture rooms that were prefab or that were pre-prefab. What I mean by pre-prefab is that they were using a classroom or treatment area, then they will now demarcate and then teach. You know, like what happens in our village schools nowadays. But before I go further, now let me tell you that in December 1966, Mr. T. Oshin was appointed an associate lecturer of physiotherapy, and then he was the only member until 1968 when the supervisor of Dr. B. Adegoke's undergraduate was Mrs. Jesse Ajao, who was appointed the lecturer. And then Mrs. Umuga joined in 1974, and then Mr. Isaac in 1976. And later, Mrs. Embo Akiri. I'm not sure if Mrs. Akiri, Dr. Adegoke, I'm not sure if Mrs. Akiri was not the supervisor of Dr. Akiri, or who did she supervise? But Mrs. Umuga supervised Professor. Then the late Mr. J. Obiri, who I'm fortunate to have learned to graduate from, was also a lecturer then. The BSc Physiotherapy degree program was under the administration of the Dean's Office, Dean Faculty of Medicine, from 1966 to 1971. You see, sometimes when we complain about our placements, it's always very important for you to know the history and know where you actually started from. Physiotherapy then was under the Dean's Office from 1966 to 1971. And then from 1971, we feel that the responsibility of the office of the dean was a bit becoming too much, and then physiotherapy came under the Department of Surgery as not as a unit by itself, but as a program under the orthopedic unit of the Department of Surgery. So you can probably understand why sometimes surgeons feel like, especially orthopedic surgeons feel like where the organ when it comes to things that have to do with physiotherapy. So from 1971 to 77, it was part of the orthopedic unit of the Department of Surgery. And then we moved up again. Look at how we started from units under the Dean's office to a unit under orthopedic unit of the Department of Surgery. From 1977 to 1981, then it was run as a program, as a unit under the Department of Surgery. So we have left orthopedic unit, we are now a unit under the Department of Surgery. Then in 1981, we attained full departmental status. That is why we have carefully selected 50 years of physiotherapy training in Ibadan. What we are celebrating is not 50 years of Department of Physiotherapy. Okay? It's 50 years of physiotherapy degree training in the University of Ibadan. So in 1981, we became a full-fledged department. And then 1982, the emeritus professor Ebenezer Gloria Kandela, that you saw yesterday, who later became the foundation provost, contributed immensely to the issue of facilities. One of the things that he did was that the whole college administration facility and lecture theatre was ceded to the Department of Physiotherapy by the foundation provost of the college. In other words, that place that we call PS was not originally for physiotherapy. It was for the entire faculty, but it was given to the physiotherapy department. The complex where you have Professor Sonia's office, Dr. Adeni, and where the body people are taking over now, that used to be the entire College of Medicine before they moved to this administration board. The facility had large lecture theatres and 2 classrooms and practical rooms, but that was what was used then. But we now moved to sometime within 2002-2006, agitation for bigger facilities actually came. And one of the recommendations, especially by the young Provost College of Medicine, Emeritus Professor Ayodele Falashe, who incidentally was the Vice Chancellor, was that the same thing that is now being done to Natuli or Deku Library, that the same thing will be done to the old facility, that provision was made for it to be a 2-floor structure actually. And then they asked physiotherapy to make arrangement for how that will be done. The Department of Physiotherapy got quantity surveyor, got an architect to design something that was supposed to cost, I think, 6.8 million naira. Under the then provost, the current Minister of Health, Professor Ayodele, a fundraising committee was set up. It was to generate 650 million naira to upgrade physical facilities and things like that. One of us served on the committee, and let's just say I served on that committee. And things were prioritized, and physiotherapy building was left at number 14 on the list of priorities there. That's despite the fact that we had done the initial evaluation, we realized that we were going to get 6.5 million. In this same auditorium, the appeal fund was launched, and the bank looked at the items and said, okay, we will pick this physiotherapy structure. And we thought we were going to get 6.5 million naira to do that evaluation. But through a connection and interaction between the provost then, Professor Ayodele, and the Emeritus Professor Falashe, who was the Vice Chancellor then, and some other connections that I must reveal had input of physiotherapists. Nigeria built Promise University of Ibadan under the leadership of the then Chairman of the Council of the University of Ibadan, Sir Felix Oyiwe. promised to give the university about 20 million naira. And like Professor Adiboli said here one time, hand touched hand, and then one night, that was the day that we had clinical exams for the largest students. I think about 66 of them for exam 11. Around 9:30, I got a phone call from someone that the provost wanted me to call. I called around 10 o'clock and the then provost, I said, by tomorrow morning, can I have a draft of a 20 million naira building for physiotherapy? That there's going to be a lot of competition, but that we could beat other people to it. Then I didn't have the GSM, and I was one of the people that didn't join in using GSM. So I started calling my head of department, that's Dr. Akipa. Eventually I got her around 10 o'clock, and I passed the message to her. And the idea was that they planned the arrangement, what do you call it now? The layout of the structure must get to the office of the provost. He said, you either bring it to my house before 6:30 or you meet me in the office before 7 o'clock. So Dr. Akipa said, work on something and also work on something. And the two of us met at the car park outside around 6:15 in the morning to reconcile what to do. So by the time the court of governors of college was meeting, we were ready. So by the time they got to the meeting, physiotherapy was ready with something. There was no other department that was ready for it. That was how we got the 20 million. And then we started scaling down. We wanted a facility, a physical structure that would take care of our needs. Then we started scaling down. One of the first issues, because we must talk about all this for posterity's sake, was where will the structure be? Where we have the current physiotherapy building, what they had here was chillers that was being used to propel the air conditioner for the old complex and part of the new structure that we had here. They now had a challenge of how to remove the chillers. Then we were asked actually to go and look at a piece of land behind the UBA structure. We were not interested in that. When I say we, I mean my seniors in the department, we were not interested. And they now told us to go and look at behind PSM. Behind the ICH. And I remember I went to Dr. Akimpe, Dr. Adekoki, and Dr. Garrison. While we were looking at it, Dr. Garrison was particularly excited that this is a very new land we'll be able to expand and things like that. And then I provided you information that when I became something undergraduate, I remember as with my dean then, Professor Lai showing on work, when we were visiting our department, we visited ICH. And Professor Motane told us that we were just waiting for funds to expand the facility there. And then I said, Dr. Akipa, since Professor Motane is your friend, why don't you ask him whether we could make use of the place? And the man said, if anybody came, he'd say his hand here. Lord, so we quickly ran back and we went to them, because for some reasons, they didn't want physiotherapy building to be where it is today. So eventually, we went back to Professor Adewale and told him that we were not so comfortable with this place because of its proximity to these, and we spoke to Yoruba in English, and then we were left with the children. Let me tell you one of the big lessons that I learned from the issue of that children. To the best of my knowledge, the cheapest that they were going, that someone gave, the cheapest estimate someone gave to remove the chillers was about 850,000 naira. To remove the chillers. And Adewale said, no, I'm not going to do that. Let's just wait. You know what happened? The chillers were sold at 2.3 million naira. The impression all the other contractors were giving is that what is important, we help you to remove it. But someone came and said, I'm going to buy it. You know what? When those people who bought it started dismantling, that was one of the days that I wish I had money. Because I'm sure that those guys must have made more than 5 million naira from that chance. They didn't remove it, like they brought people from Gates, from different places, from this place that beside the Wabela house, and all those people who are selling iron doors and all the rest came to me. That was how we got that building. But unfortunately, that so-called bad Nigerian engine made some people to compromise that structure. And that is why the agitation for new structure actually came today. But I must tell you that from the time when there were no offices for people to use to what we have now, we have actually evolved. Let me quickly read through this. From the humble beginning of just one associate lecturer in 1966, departments later grew to employ one Mrs. Ariola Akínpẹ̀lú and one Miss Ariola Akínpẹ̀lú and then one Miss Aderoke Musadomi, and then now later they started employing some more people, one Mr. S.L. Amosun, one Mr. Kamadi Nabedu Olusheye, one Mr. K.A. Swani, one Mrs. Alawale, and one Mr. Famude, and then later one Major Olabi, one Mr. B.O. Yadegoke, and so on and so forth. Sorry, I skipped that. One Mr. K.A. Swani, one Mrs. Funmi Alawale, one Reverend Adeolu Jayesimi, and then later Mr. Famude, and then later Mr. Fabumi, Mrs. Ayo said, Ojunaya, Mr. Bio Yadegoke, Major Olabi, and so on and so forth. So, as of today, Mr. S.L. Amusu is here with us. Professor Shilade Amusu is listening to him yesterday. No. You said fine girl. Yeah, fine girl, Aderoke Ogunike Musadomi is here with us. Now, Dr. Aderoke. Then Ms. Ariola Akínpẹ̀lú is now Professor Sonia, Dr. B.O. Yadegoke, Dr. Bina. But it's gratifying to know that recently when the AUC accreditation came, we realized that we have 12 lecturers in the department. 11 of them with PhD, one without completing. We have 3 people in professorial cadre that is going to increase to 5 before the end of this year by God's grace. We also have 2 new lecturers that have been interviewed that were just waiting for their letter to be released by the University of Ibadan. So we're going to grow to a 14-man department before the end of this year. Everybody will be 5 people of the professorial cadre and so on and so forth. So we have moved. We have also evolved to the point where each lecturer in the department, each lecturer has his own office, reasonably furnished, fully air-conditioned, full network, internet facilities. Even the 2 lecturers that we have not interviewed, as at the time the NUC people came, they have their offices ready. That's fantastic. The only unfortunate thing in part of our evolution when we are talking about facilities is the fact that when I was admitted into this department, there was a departmental card. There was an official card in the department, 504. You see, I feel bad about this, but it's not my fault. I have the real privilege to tell you all that I'm responsible for bringing more money to the cover of the department than any other lecturer, any other head of department, because none of them are allowed to sell departmental card. I sold the departmental card 23,000 and incidentally, people in the college were asking me whether I used juju to sell that car. Because they were sure that anybody, in his or right man, will buy that car for 53,000 naira. So you can understand part of my agitation that if I sold departmental car, I don't want a car, departmental car, I want a bus for the college. and by God's grace we will get a bus. So we are for the department. So we have moved in terms of the facilities. We have a building that we can call physiotherapy building. We have our own lecture rooms. We have lecturers that we can do a lot of training on clinical physiotherapists without relying on anybody. But at the postgraduate level, the same trend happened. When the postgraduate program started in 1996, 97 academic year, but the first intake came in 97, 98. We had only 2 lecturers, 2 core physiotherapy lecturers. That's Dr. Sonia and Dr. Akinpelu in 1988. Other people were collaborating. Late Emeritus Professor V.C. Woga was also a lecturer in physiotherapy. But, like Dr. Lodi and Co said, they were moving from Ibadan to Ife to go and receive the lecture. So the first set of students for masters, very most of them masters and MPh they were going to receive their lectures and the ones that were going to be taught by late Emeritus Professor V.C. Woga. And then later Hamza joined, then we got 3 lecturers. Now in the department, 75 or rather about 80% of the lecturers in the department are postgraduate lecturers today because they are eminently qualified by the regulations of the University of Ibadan and that of the National Universities Commission. And that is why we're able to train so many PhD, so many MSc and so many MPhil degree holders in the department. So we are a self-sustaining department. The evolution in terms of structure again is that we have now moved from a one structured department to a department that has sub-units with a view to evolving to sub-departments. So we now have units, musculoskeletal physiotherapy unit in the department well established. We have the cardiorespiratory unit well established. We have community physio and geriatric physiotherapy that we are trying to further established, and we have pediatric and neuro physiotherapy together as well as together separately. The 5th one is health promotion, sports and health promotion physiotherapy. The hope is that by the time we become fully established, we're going to have departments that don't matter. And I tell you, the bill on the table now, the single ladies and gentlemen, the bill on the table now, approved at the first level. That is the level of the faculty being discussed at the college academic board is to establish faculty of medical rehabilitation. I need to say this because we have some of our eminent alumni here. Establishing a faculty or becoming a faculty is not something that is done on paper. There are lots and lots of things that the business committee of State of University will consider, we the Senate to also consider before it gets to council, before we go to Abuja, that's NUC. You need to have structure. You need to have some money. You need to have local, or let me say, internal and external support. The good thing is that there's a lot of goodwill to our side. We have a dean who is an advocate of the Ministry Physiotherapy can stand on it. We've had VCs who have told us that I want you to evolve to become in the faculty. But what support do we have from outside? If they ask you to convey some of the people who will go and argue your case from here to here, are you going to put them on the pen or are you going to put them on car? When they come to inspect your library facilities, like the NUC team came out, they were quite impressed. I must tell you that when it came to the issue of teaching capacity, curriculum, we scored well above 80% in all those areas. But when it came to the issue of structure, despite all these things that we have, we still believe that there's a lot of room for improvement. For example, and we must say this, up till now, the department does not have an hydrotherapy, and we say hydrotherapy is an important part, component of hydrotherapy. What we did, why you see, okay, close your ears out. What we did was that we did, you know, I'm an alpha, and then usually we go for the new ceremony. What we what we did with our hydrotherapy room was that I just carried the place and then I whispered something. I said, I hereby change you from hydrotherapy to massage room. Because people will ask, why are you using paper walkway? And we also have a cultural issue. People not wanting to step on the hip to walk on the walkway because they don't know what you are going to do with their footprints. So we must evolve from that. When we look at the two items that Dr. Aliwo instructed me to talk about, infrastructure, we have done very well. We have moved, we have improved. But when you say you have improved, to what extent? In the entire physiotherapy building now, all you just need is your laptop, then you'll be able to tap into the internet facility that we have. We have a web page now for physiotherapy. Physiotherapy department is on Twitter, physiotherapy department is on Facebook. Those are some of the organizations that we have done. In terms of keeping records, the department has acquired a software, which was acquired last year, to enter results and profile of students, so that we won't need to go to the archives to bring out the file of Dr. Aliwo. It's just a matter of clicking on something and then it brings the entire profile. If nobody has had any information concerning his academic year in the department, we just need to click on that. But that is the hardware and the software that we have. What about the malware? So those are the three components. We are still short-staffed in the department of physiotherapy, especially in terms of administrative. But the university gives you room, allowance to get adult staff, but you have to pay for that adult staff from your own cover. And how much money do we have? The last time I checked, what we had in our examination board was 253 naira. And up until now, the money that we borrowed, those of you who are applying to become interns now, the money that we borrowed to conduct your exam will not be reimbursed by now. And that's part of the reason why we don't know. So we need to still hire more staff to be able to do a lot of things. In terms of how strictly we respond to requests, there is no student of this department or former student of this department that can apply to get anything from this department that they are taking more than 5 days. But we want to shorten it to 2 days. We need that. But we need someone to be in charge of that. Not this one that a lecturer is appointed to treat all requests, in addition to his or her own responsibility of teaching, of research, of his or her publication, and of additional and clinical. Also, let me round this up by talking about the other appointments. For several years, the only consultant physiotherapist that we had in this department was Dr. T. Abayomi. And then in 1993, Professor Soya became a consultant. In 2005, 4 additional people were appointed as consultants by the UCH. And that continued until the time when we started appointing some more people on this level. But today, all the 12 lecturers in the department are consultant physiotherapists to UCH. Actually, remember that until last year we were 13. All the 13 were actually consultant until Dr. Ayakiremi moved from Agbala to Fuji. Nigeria is the Agbala, Fuji Island where he's working is in Fuji. So we have improved in that. In terms of physical facilities, I will be that we can do better, and we hope that things will continue to improve. In terms of collaboration with our colleagues in UCH, we keep improving, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. In the department today, also, when the University of Ghana, I'm appealing to those of you in 300 level, 400 level, some of you in 500 level, maybe it's already too late. The University of Ghana started a policy of admitting students who made 6.0 grade minimum at undergraduate level for master's degree in the University of Ibadan. And the benefits are, when you are given that scholarship, is tuition free, accommodation free, almost everything free throughout the period of the master's degree training program. In addition, they also give you free meal. University of Ibadan, we pay you 25,000 naira every month. And in the department today, we have 3 beneficiaries. That's Mr. Denika Adebayo, Ms. Joanna Onibisi, and Ms. Kende Owe. I received letters for the next batch of people that also there. So the 3 of them had also been collaborating with us. And we have appointed 5 associate lecturers to join us. And these are 3 of them from UCH. That's Mr. Shelley Chotri, who is here with us, Dr. Kola Fatudi, and Mr. Tulia Dekona, who is somewhere in the audience. Dr. Dada, who is the head of Physiotherapy Interactive, and Mr. Ekuda Yokukule, that's the head of Physiotherapy at the National Sports Commission. As time goes on, we hope to obey it. So if you have 5 associate lecturers, 12 lecturers, you probably have 17 lecturers. If you have 3 graduate assistants to do them, we have 20 of us in the department. So I think we are improving and then we continue to improve. That is how much I can tell about history. But before I want to join everybody to recognize all our senior people who are here, people from outside, because I was supposed to give HOD the opening speech, so I'll just quickly use this time to join. Congratulations to all of us, physiotherapists, qualified physiotherapists and then trained physiotherapists for this 50th anniversary. I want to admonish us to appreciate one thing. Nobody can make you great unless you make yourself small. Just the same way that nobody has any right to make you feel bad without your consent. We really need to know where we have come from and then where we are going. We need, as physiotherapists, to continue to have disagreements, but to at the same time remain focused. I always tell people, a stable home is not that home where husband and wife never quarrel or where they never had disagreements. The important thing is that the disagreement must be well managed. The disagreement, I'm not a marriage counselor, and I married only recently. My marriage is less than 20 years old, or certainly more than 10 years. Is that even if you disagree with your wife, and suddenly your uncle comes visiting, everything is normal again. You smile, you do everything. By the time your uncle goes there, you go and continue with your business. But you must remember to tell your wife that you are hungry. You really don't share me right here. Tell me to meet Jeremy. And then, you know, that is how it's supposed to be. There is no profession where people don't have disagreements. I remember 1992. The late Gadifa Ebe and Co. and later Kaba Shoron, when they had NBA conference in Panama, they were actually throwing chairs. They were fighting. Seniors were dragging and doing whatever. So NBA remains NBA, they continue to. That's how it is everywhere. It's always amazing to me when people say, why do you disagree? You must disagree. I don't want to work with people that everything will be yes, 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 and yes. I don't like it. It doesn't, it don't move. But we must know that we are physiotherapists. You must know that whatever you do is going to rub off on you. There's something I always tell people, when the way some people receive compliments, some of us don't receive it like that. And the analogy I like to draw is someone meeting me and say, oh, come on, say, you're such a very good boy. You're brilliant, hardworking. But your mother, very bad man. And I say, you haven't complimented me at all. How can you say you are rating me this is a very good physiotherapist, but your people are, and then I start smiling. I should feel sad about it. We must continue to work as a team. We must realize that some people have done their own. Whether we like it or not, some people have good things to say about many of our teachers. People can boast. I'm telling you, Baboshi walks into department free, both the clinic and business. Some of our seniors, some of our former teachers come in here. Dr. Sonny comes here, Dr. Kamal Belushe, you saw him at the last induction, and so many other people. But there are some people who are retired, who are not that honorable, who cannot come to anyone. It depends on whatever we are contributing. How many of us can go back to places where we have worked and then we'll be very free there? Remember what happened for those of you who are around, when late about really turned 8, you saw the celebration that day. You were happy. Remember the testimony of Professor and Dr. Akinpele and some other people. Remember the testimony of Mr. Jumbo, no one, concerning Akobi. Mama Uga got to know about the program less than 24 hours before them. He told Professor Lau, he came all the way from here. That is need to celebrate people. Like what someone said about the merits of Professor Bisi Uga. Forget about wanting to catch up with him or wanting to be like him. It is impossible. But can we lead for yourself? As physiotherapists, we must appreciate the fact that this is a profession of smart, intelligent, hardworking, responsible people. And we must continue to reflect that in whatever we do. Our reasoning must be at that level. It must be at that level. We must think about the collective benefit, the collective gain, the honor, the respect. We must continue to share it. I do not understand situation where someone had formed bad impression about a senior because that person was external examining. For goodness sake, when I'm invited to come and examine you, you think I'm invited to come and smile and no, I'm invited to come and examine you. And that is the reason why some people don't like some of our seniors. You heard what Mrs. Funkesho said at the cocktail on Monday, when she was saying that it's when she got to another university and she appreciated the beauty of having received the training in this place. This is the best place you can receive training in West Africa. I'm telling you. This is the best place. Try some other places and you will know. There are people here who go to examine in other centers. They will tell you the experience. They will share them with you and then you will appreciate what they're talking about. So why can't you, in terms of cost, Mr. Aludin will probably tell you how expensive it is to even do a postgraduate diploma in Canada. In terms of opportunity, this is the place where you can get it. I tell people the reason why I'm not more financially successful in this country is because I'm not exerting myself. I'm sure if I was to work in Canada, I probably would do 2 jobs or 3. Here, I'm doing only one, so to speak. I don't do 50. I stopped doing it about 10 years ago. I don't reach out to go and network and make use of that opportunity, and yet life is very good. But why can't you receive the maximum training and support your department? Finally, I know this is not an assembly of physiotherapists only, but I will say it openly because there can be no such opportunity again. In College of Medicine, our impact is not being felt at all. So they're just accommodating us. And the earlier we wake up to all these things, the better for all of us. The perimeter fencing of Alexander Brown, where Dr. Moyebi became one of the lecturers in this, an assistant body, where Amzat is the old master. The perimeter fencing was done by a class of MBBS. The skill acquisition lab was done by a class of MBBS. You saw that boss, that big boss, that one we get Amatan. That long one. It has Amatan, it is not 1985 set of MBBS PDS. Actually, the college promised me that if I need it, that they will give it to me for the purpose of this 50th anniversary. I said no. Would you mind seeing them? They walk away from college building down to this place, 1978. A class, I think that's Professor Akinka Wibodo's class, is giving 12 million naira. How much is it that they're giving to college units? So things like that. Yet, Adeni Fatah, one of your lecturers, he's the Secretary General of ICOMA worldwide. And ICOMA is bringing money through the NPBS and PDS program, especially the NPBS program. Dr. Adiboki had been a national officer of ICOMA to Professor Sen, and also served 4 years. 1 year of no impact from physiotherapy graduates. Just your building here, come and contribute to renovating your building. Come and give money to support the department. And that was why it's very gratifying to know that lecturers in the department said, let's pick up one of these challenges, and we raised about 570,000 naira amongst us to provide the matter. But we can't call it class of physiotherapy. It is going to be used by physiotherapists. It is not the same thing as the one that you can give to APH, where most of our students and clinical scientists will benefit. So, if you hear outside and you come back here to tell us that we're not doing enough, you guys are not exerting yourself. He who pays the piper details the team. We ask people to contribute to the 50th anniversary. Some people are asking us to go and bring evidence. They said they asked me to go and bring evidence, and my father actually died in Australia, so that they can be sure that I'm the one that collect the money. Because of how much? Especially for those of you in the diaspora, I think those of us in Nigeria are in abject poverty. I'm sorry, I have to say this. We have money. We are much more comfortable than most of our colleagues who are outside this country. And I dare challenge them to bring out what they have contributed and compare with those of us who are so-called local physiotherapists, what we have contributed. But what we need is collaboration of everybody. Let us all unite and raise the bar of physiotherapy. If the bar doesn't get it, no other place will get it. No other place will get it. And the Department of Physiotherapy, College of Medicine, University is a national heritage. It's a national heritage. If we start bringing the list of people that we are training, bring another department that can produce that kind of thing. Bring another department that can produce that kind of thing in the next 25 years. And then we believe that we haven't done that. So let's sustain this. You will expect that yesterday we were going to have at least 1,000 physiotherapists, or let's say at most 600 physiotherapists from all over the country. But what did we hear? Ibadan is celebrating its 50 years of training. That's ignorance. What we're celebrating is 50 years of physiotherapy training. In Nigeria, this is the first training program in the entire West African sub-region. And yesterday when I said, if you trained in Nigeria or in West Africa, you were taught by this department directly or indirectly. The program in Ghana, who are the people that established it? The two leading people, including their current HOD, had his first degree, his master's, his PhD from this place. The person next to him had his master's from this place. Have you taught all of them who are lecturers, who are physiotherapy lecturers? I either taught them, or they were examined by one of us, or they were taught by people who obtained their degree from this place. Yet, part of the Nigerian thing that we don't appreciate what we have is not making us to do it. So I want to appeal, and it must start with those of you who are undergraduate students today. The glory that we saw yesterday belongs to everybody in physiotherapy. It didn't matter who contributed, who did not contribute. On the final note, as the head of the department today, I want to sincerely appreciate all lecturers in the department, all students in the department, and all the people who had contributed money. As of this morning, someone graduated a set ahead of me, Mr. Funsho Aroni from Amata Canada. Western, that's one of the reasons why I came. Sent in 50,000 naira, and some people brought dollars yesterday. That's led by Mr. Nudin. If you've been following the Facebook posting, you'll see how we have been uploaded. Amongst all our alumni outside this country, only 14 or 15 of them had bothered to contribute towards the planning of this 3-day event. And I'm telling you, this 3-day event has got more than 3.5 million. So search yourself. How much did you contribute? How much would you have contributed? Those of you who think we are stealing your money, this is high quality t-shirt. You saw the charge you saw the copy of our program. You saw the copy of the lecture material. You saw the quality of people that we brought. Your money cannot buy all this. You saw the kind of goodwill that we enjoy. And I must also thank the College of Medicine Management for their support, especially towards the planning of this event. We've all tried. Together, we're all winners. We're all winners. And the only thing is that in 10 years' time, when the 60th anniversary is going to be celebrated, we should be talking about ITF. I wish all of us who have come from outside the country joining us back home. But please be assured again, magic is continuing. We have not closed the account and people are paying to contribute money. Give us things. Give
Thank you, my HOD. What else can I say? That was very loaded. Unfortunately, there are some non-family members inside. But notwithstanding, I think it's always time to talk the truth to ourselves. That was the truth. I said, don't mind my Lagbaja song. Yes. Oh yeah, what? Yes. But it wasn't physiotherapist to them who were. Unfortunately, it was people from outside. And that is the shame of it. Many of us, we have not learned to give. And we live this poverty-stricken life. When you don't give, you don't get. Some of us give not because we have too much to give, but because we know it is good to give. So, as physiotherapists, let's learn to give. We are physiotherapists, and most of the money that you have made, anything you have achieved in your life, is through physiotherapy. So why are you not finding it difficult to plow back? Let's learn to plow back. That's what others have learned. Like the HOD, I envy the HOD. You are saying the HOD is the authority of the university. He's close to the college administration. And Father Adini is the Secretary General of ICOMA. People are donating money. You are going there, they are dedicating the perimeter fencing of ADH, and you are part of the team. And you know that your own people, not because they don't have. Because an average physiotherapist is quite comfortable. That's the truth. If a doctor charges a surgeon, charges a patient 100,000, you can be sure that the physiotherapist can make more than 200,000 from that patient. Those people working in Lagos, even in Ibadan, I know that some of you charge as more than 3,000 per visit. Yes, that is low. Okay. Maybe 4,000, maybe 5,000. And you see that patient for 3 months, 6 months. How long will you have taken from that patient? Yes, you don't want to give. And this is the profession that has given you certificate and the license that allows you to do all that. I know the most of the people we are addressing this afternoon, they are young people. Because you are people that will go on Facebook and will be writing, I will write some this morning, lamenting about the situation, asking the elders to go and die. And I say, no profession kills his elders, just because you want to grow. It doesn't happen that way. So let's learn to be good professionals, let's support our alma mater. There is a lot that you can contribute. I said this during the cocktail, and I'm repeating it. Individually, we are not powerful enough to effect positive changes. But if we work together, then we'll be able to do something tangible. The HOD refers to the boss. It's not one person that gave the boss. And they must have contributed that money. Maybe not for 1 year. It could be over a number of years, but they have made up their mind. We are going to do this for our alma mater. And they did it. That's the kind of thing that we need to do. Not coming to give 10,000. Yes, your 10,000, we appreciate it. But you don't come with 10,000, we just use your money to buy chocolate. And you will not see your chalk because we have used the chalk to write. So the chalk will disappear. But if you come, you can donate an equipment. We will inform the college, we will inform the university, you will be appropriately appreciated. And you can see our wall of honor. You can see a section of benefactors. If you donate something that is tangible, the university will know about it. It should be in the university bulletin and your name will be written on the wall of honor. So I'm sure many of us in this room want to read and need to be written there. So that's the challenge. Don't wait till when you have millions before you plow back to your family. the time is now. So HOD, thank you very much. You are talking to us, you have talked to us at length, and we are indeed appreciated what you have said this afternoon. So next in line, I want to invite,
Lydia, the Deputy Director of the University of Physiotherapy Interactive. Thank you. Do we still have some guests here? Okay. Please, there's going to be a minor adjustment in what we have in our program again. Paper presentation 7 will have to come up now because he has to travel of Mr. Numuddin T. Amosat all the way from Canada, from Ibadan Physiotherapy degree training to practice in the foreign land.
That is Secretary Adini. Please let me introduce him properly.
That was 7-0, right? Hello everyone. It's very difficult to not appreciate and acknowledge all that has since gone on from yesterday to today. It is very heartwarming to see the contribution of everyone and the type of honor that you have brought to our profession. So keep the good work up. So all protocols observed. I want to acknowledge the presence of all my lecturers and of course the students and physiotherapists that are here and members of the public to witness this occasion. They have actually asked me to talk about a topic titled From Ibadan Physiotherapy Degree Training to Practicing in a Foreign Land. And I want to say that that topic is looking like a trap. Because in our class of 1994, thanks to General Ibrahim Babangida, is supposed to be set of 1993. There were two Hamzats in the class, and you know the popular Hamzat and you know the second Hamzat today. That orator guy who's supposed to split the ability to talk half-half.
Did you split your brilliance?
But Hamzat used my star all around me, so that's why we have to talk like that. That's the first thing. But in order to name the coffee today, he gave me a topic, and what he wants to achieve from that is to say that the training didn't prepare me enough so that my lecturers will be able to name my coffin. Can you see that? So it is very, very difficult for me to see what has happened since yesterday, and the fact that I'm a product of this program and I'm doing well, and I've seen a lot of my colleagues doing well, to say that this program is not preparing us enough to practice in the foreign. I don't believe that is the case. Do you believe that is the case? So what I'm going to say today is, I'm going to say a bunch of things because this is just a discussion thing, and I am going to actually make you the judge. So I'm going to tell you a bunch of things, and you are going to tell me whether what you have received as a student and as a practicing physiotherapist, whether you think you have what it takes based on what I'm going to be talking about. And if you do have it, kudos to you, but I think the program is set up in a way that you actually should have it. So that is the second thing. I'm also going to on a lighter mode, because I'm starting so active, that is why it's not fat. So I am going to make him, because he's the head of the department, I'm going to make him a 4-man. So that way you have 4 staff from him alone. Because if he's 4-man, that is 4 persons. So that way you're going to probably have a little bit more from him, rather than just being 1 person. I found it difficult to get my message across to him yesterday because he was just all over the place. practice in a foreign place, I want to say that there are going to be a lot of assumptions that I'm going to make today. There are facts that you know. I'm going to reiterate some of these facts. There are disclaimers and disclosures that I have to say up front, because I cannot say that based on my present experience and practice that I know everything that is actually happening in the foreign place. And I also am not privy to the current curriculum that this program runs. And things are very dynamic and things continue to change. And if you must know, the play leg that you watched the other time, that's exactly how I train. So, but I want to say that there are a few things about practice in a foreign place. There are registration requirements, and apart from credentialing and writing an exam, there are also requirements for continuing competence. And I'm going to borrow a lot from the speech yesterday. And this talk is a continuum in a series of interlinking discussions about practice in the 21st century, if we believe that people abroad or in other lands are probably closer to evidence-based practice, then they are probably practicing in the moment what the system wants us to use in practicing. So I'm going to use them as a gold standard, knowing that, of course, they are not gold. We can also move closer and actually be pace setters too, and they will learn from us. So apart from registration requirements, we also have more autonomy of practice. So I remember when I was doing my credentialing, and we had to prove that in Nigeria we can actually do independent practice. So you get a referral, you get a patient on a direct access, and you be the primary person that will make the call whether you have the right knowledge and skill to be able to treat the client or refer on to other people. And I think I'm not going to, I will emphasize this a lot, that our training needs to definitely move towards that if it is not already there. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Another thing is that physiotherapists in other places are an equal member in terms of status of a team. So every person on the team is equally important, and we actually don't have a particular leader in that team, except, of course, if we want to default that to the patient or their family members. The other thing is the fact that when it comes to movement and functional activities, or the aspect of care that relates to movement and function, decisions to be made with regards to movement-related decisions. So, and you must be ready to actually champion that leadership role. I'm going to be referring to the concept that also used in his presentation yesterday, and there is that role of a manager, and that is the leadership role that you're going to assume on the team when it relates to movement and function. There are also advanced activities that physiotherapists have the ability to do. And after the preparation in this program, you're probably going to end up being a novice, like Professor Amosun said yesterday. And the fact that after 50 years of practice and accumulated experience, he still calls himself not an expert yet. So I wonder what all of you will be in another 50 years, probably still aspiring to be an expert. So these advanced activities include the ability to order imaging, so MRI,
x-rays and things like that. So we can do that as a physiotherapist and we don't have to go through doctors. The ability to do knitting, including injection to joints. So we're going to do things like that. And also physiotherapists that do practice in advanced role can triage patients for surgery so that the surgeon can do the actual surgery. Because when people go for surgery, especially joint-related surgeries, it's about pain and function. So who is best suited to decide on whether the patient is functioning enough? It's actually the physiotherapist, not the surgeon. So that is why they pattern the practice that way so that physiotherapists will be able to do that. So those are some of the things that if you're going to do the training and the physiotherapists will be able to learn and start running. These are some of the components that you need to include in the training. So these are some of the facts. I believe that physio is very dynamic, it's changing, it continues to change, and the rate of change is so rapid. I remember some of our colleagues that time, they wanted to actually do another course because physio is about passive movement and all sort of little things, and you're thinking, this is all that we have to do for a career. This is too easy. And so most of them want to move to medicine or become a pharmacist and things like that. But I can assure you, for some of them that who are fortunate, I say fortunate not to be able to actually change to be a doctor, they are actually overwhelmed now and thinking like, oh my God, physio is so advanced now, I can only even just focus on one thing. That's it. So that is what we're experiencing. Best practice should guide clinical care. And training of professionals that is going to deliver that care should then be based on that. But what is best practice? And everybody go now, everybody use the word, the best evidence, the best whatever. But you look at the literature and everything is saying we need more studies, and what we got so far is heterogeneous and it's not robust, and then we cannot base into practice on that. So then what is best practice? So somebody very brilliant already defined that, and based on the best available evidence, the experience of the clinician that is going to deliver the care, and of course, the patient's norm and values. And that is why when a crate of egg was given to Professor Amosun and he refused it, and that was the value that that patient cherished, you knew that that would be very difficult to create a relationship if you do that. So there are acceptable norms in every society, and so that cultural sensitivity is part of what we need to know about. And that is actually part of best practice. And also, if you don't have the experience, so the fact that physiotherapists are able to order imaging or they are able to perform injections or practice in some role, and you are a new physiotherapist, or for that matter, you have a lot of experience, but you don't have that particular experience, is it right for you to do it? So then there is professional boundary and there is personal boundary. So professional boundary is a lot of things that physiotherapists will be able to do potentially, and personal boundary is your own personal limit, that I cannot do that. And then you should know that and refer on to your other colleagues that will be able to do it, that's number one, and or refer to other professionals that will be able to do it. People who come with rickets, they will come with all sorts of things. People will give them vitamin D. Vitamin D, I will just go and check the dosage and do it, because that is orthopedic. Physio should be able to do that. Wow, I don't think so. So if you know enough of what you're supposed to be doing, you have too much to do in physio that you should not even cross boundary and go to some other people's job and be doing it. So the population head demand advocates for educational preparation, and this is from Professor Amosu's talk yesterday. So the preparation of our students should align according to what the care need for the population is now. That is where the pointer is for all of us. And we know that curriculum does not change very fast. So most of the time, changes will have accumulated over time before you are even able to catch up and do some curriculum changes. So there are gaps that students will need to appreciate, and they have to bridge that at times themselves. And that is also from Professor Amosu's talk yesterday. We know that chronic non-communicable diseases are major causes of disability, and we need to move our practice to what is important. Why I said this is that even in politics, if you don't know what is in vogue, you're going to do the politics of yesterday and you're not going to move ahead. That's exactly clinical practice. There are changes in the people that we serve, they are the customers, and we need to do what they need. Because their need will direct our care. If we do that, we're going to be relevant, we're going to be important. And it's looking like we're not seizing the moment, we're not capturing or capitalizing on the opportunities that we have. And I see that a lot of people have been talking since. For this particular one, I am going to be open to taking questions. So, some disclosures. I'm not familiar with the current program curriculum, not at all. Especially the fact that you have moved to Bachelor of Physiotherapy. But I want to believe that most of these program designs are probably created in line with what is obtainable nowadays, and then I should have a vague idea of what it should contain. Most of what I'm going to be talking about, I've been talking about, is based on my experience and bias. So I have some personal experience with regards to how practice is being done in Canada. But even if you go to the United States, despite the closeness of the two places, we still have a huge difference in how we do practice in these two places. Especially because of fund pressures. In the United States, the practice is fairly different. I've also been involved in helping physiotherapists that have moved to Canada to prepare for the national exams that they have to do before they can practice. So I have quite a bit of experience with regards to the struggles that people have when they first come to a foreign place. So I want to say that the most important thing is to look at what you need as a framework, and the basic thing is to have the foundational competencies. And these competencies, based on Professor Amosu's lecture yesterday, will lead to observable or measurable knowledge, clinical skill, and attitude to be able to do what you're supposed to do as a physiotherapist. So then it follows that if you have a lot of skill and you don't even have the right knowledge, it may not be that useful. So if you know that rheumatoid arthritis is not going to be curable, it's going to be progressive, you can manage it, your practice will be totally different from, and the education that you're going to be giving to the patient will be different to say you think it is going to be fixed and the patient is going to be cured. And that's what the patient is looking for, cure, total cure. So if that is the promise, you're going to fail miserably, and that is why a lot of people will come to your patient department and they will take back and tense or short-wave diatony or infrared for 6 months, 5 times every week, for example. And you have not reassessed them since the initial assessment. That is, if you did the initial assessment and not just her. OA. Everyone short wave. So that is very, very important. Or some other people will even explain it and say, even after the explanation, it stays short wave. So everyone. So it is very, very important that you have the right knowledge to be able to take the right steps. The skill that you're going to have is going to be very, very flexible and adaptable. So what we're saying, with your knowledge, you're going to be able to mold your skill to go with whatever is these and these. That is what we call recipe practice. So, and then when you have that approach to practice, your knowledge and skills will not be very flexible. It's not adaptable to the situation. Because if the patient presents to you with OA that is acute swelling and everything, you wouldn't know what to do. If it is different from what you expected, it should be OA that has been there forever. They are subacute, they are chronic. You won't know what to do because you already have your recipe, and everybody that comes to your door will have to take that recipe. So these are organized into those 7 roles, and physiotherapists will need to look at them and be able to bring them into practice in a way that we're going to best serve our patients. The Canadian Physiotherapy Association in 2009 actually adopted the ACAMED framework, and they've been using it since then. But because I'm I know that the competency framework in Canada is actually going through revisions, and very soon we're going to have something new from the Canadian Physiotherapy Association that will probably influence the competency requirement of our college, for example. But just for the sake of argument and for the sake of this talk, and for where Africa is now, and also not knowing what the Canadian Physiotherapy Division will entail, we know that we have the expert role, and that is what makes you the leader of the team when it comes to functional and movement aspect of care. And that is you. You are the expert. But when they refer a patient to you or to your team, and there is a pain to the back, and the doctor says, okay, get the physiotherapy to check it. And at the end of your assessment, they say, you should be able to come up with an opinion. And that opinion will serve the team. I am going to end my talk with a case study. And the use of that case study is not to teach you anything new. It's just to illustrate how important your role is as the expert in MSK care, or neuromuscular, or cardiorespiratory, any aspect of physio that you find yourself in. So we have communication. I know that we do a lot of talking, and if you are the like of Amzad, or you have that gene, you're going to be sad because you're going to write 20 pages for one patient. So that will be a big problem. But you want your talking to be, or communication or documentation or whatever, you want it to be very concise and to be able to capture what it is that has happened during an encounter. So there is more to communication, but these are soft skills that a physiotherapist needs to possess to be able to actually do a great job after they are already an expert in whatever they're doing. They need to be able to communicate. And the other area that is also very soft but very important in the interprofessional type of practice that we find ourselves nowadays is the collaborator role. So how do you relate with other members of the team? What is your limit? What is it that you can suggest to other members of the team? And how can you be of best value to your team based on your expertise, which is physiotherapy care, but in other areas that you are collaborating on? also professional role. So how well are you serving your profession? So even coming here talking to you today, if this was just a review for you, I have contributed something to my profession. But if you gain something, that's even better. If you didn't get anything, but it's going to kind of give you an encouragement to go and learn more, I've contributed to the profession. So this is the type of spirit that we should have going forward. So are you taking students? Are you mentoring other therapists? The fact that I've been volunteering since I passed my exam for other physiotherapists in Canada without payment or charging them anything, they will still use my house, sleep over, do all sorts of things. People are waiting now because the next exam is in June, the written exam and the clinical skill exam. So all of this is still contribution to making the profession great. So in whatever role, like the head of the company said, there are no gains that you can get from other people if you don't provide this type of services to your profession. So then we have scholar role. The fact that your preparation, the educational preparation is only going to make you a novice physiotherapist, and you're going to stay like that for a very long time, going by Professor Amosu's assertion yesterday. So if you're going to aspire to be an expert, so then that is going to be a journey. It's going to take you many years. And that is where I see a big problem in our training right now in Nigeria, because then if the program trains you to be a novice, they expect you one day to move on and that continuum to become an expert. But our college, or the registration body, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't have anything to move you beyond being a novice. Once you finish school, there is no continuing competency requirement to say, hey, you have to continue to increase your knowledge, except one thing. I have 20 years of experience. That 20 years of experience may be like 5 years of maternity leave, that is, I'm just staying home with the kids. And that is also counted as physiotherapy experience. So, and a lot of people, they will go for a job, they say, yeah, tell me, how many years have you been doing? They say, yeah, I finished 1994, that's 22 years. But out of that 22 years, it may only be 2 years of physiotherapy practice. Well, that is not experience that you can count on. So then it becomes very important that once you're already a novice physiotherapist and you want to move on to become an expert or continue to aspire to be an expert, there must be something in our system that will continue to make you better. And do you know what it is? We're fighting a great fight now because most of the physiotherapists is effort to check everything. Wow, nothing is working for you. You're going to sit back at home and reflect, why is this low back pain different from every low back pain that I've been able to solve? That type of reflection is what makes you do, because most of the time, we usually blame the patient. Mama, instead of thinking that this problem could be my judgment, have I done everything right? Is there anything that is wrong about my approach to this particular client? And can I talk to my senior colleagues? Can somebody give me something else that I've not thought about this particular patient? So you have to reflect like that every time to solving a problem that you're finding difficult to solve. Go back to the literature and say, if somebody presents with diabetes and at the same time they have frozen shoulder, what is the link? What is going on with this particular patient that is not getting better? So that is what we need to do. But even then, in that foreign land that you're talking about, we're fighting that battle because most of our colleagues want something that is fast, CPD, 25 hours, good. Okay, you're good for another 1 year because we do that every year. So it is more work because you have to pick a chart. You have to write us a narrative of how you actually, what was your thought process when you had that patient, the treatment that you gave, what was behind your mind with regards to the best evidence for why you chose those interventions or outcome measures that you used what was the psychometric property of the outcome measure and stuff like that. How did you finally discharge the patient? If the patient did not respond to the treatment, why? What was your own thinking of what went wrong? How are you going to do it different some other time? So that type of reflection is hard work because you have to think. A lot of people don't want to do that. Like, think? Whoa, that is too hard. So the good news is this. In one way or the other, I think this program has all it takes for you to actually know how to do all of these several roles. So in one way or the other, they have actually covered this in the program. And I believe so because of all that people have said since yesterday about the last 50 years and how we have moved to this point. You have a very robust teaching program. We have extensive clinical acquisition plan, and we also have that 1 year of internship. Is this still going on, or this has been stopped? I think it's a good thing. But what we should do different is, and I don't know whether you're doing that now for the clinical practice, because, and I don't want you to tell anybody though, because Amzat will stay in his room till about 10 o'clock on Tuesday because they are doing Bengadero and he will still get his form signed at the end of So, again, we need to make sure that when our students go for this skill acquisition experience or whatever, they actually got the experience that they're supposed to get. So there should be measurable and tangible things that we're looking for in them when they go for the clinical placement. Your program length is very good, the 5-year program. Even without it being DPT, I think you can do a lot within 5 years. Your teachers are highly qualified and they have a lot of experience to be able to deliver what it takes to be a great physiotherapist. And the type of attitude that they teach you on this program is very important. I still remember on March 17 or thereabouts when they were doing the there's that another island thing that people celebrate and they wear green stuff in Canada. And they drink a lot of booze and stuff like that. So somebody gave me something and I was still able to tie a knot. And that is thanks to Professor Amoso because you dare not have a tie on and greet him in the hallway because you're not different from a mortuary attendant anyways. That was the training. So, and that right attitude will follow you throughout life. And you will definitely be able to go on and use those professional behaviors to becoming a very good physiotherapist. How am I doing with time? Over talking? I'm not over. So when we get all of these abilities, I'm pretty sure, and I'm assuring you that all you're going to get out of it is just, at best, you're going to be a novice at best. That's it. No more. So, the concern that we now have after doing this is our competency framework will have to move us along, and the profession will have to, when you get your own board or as it is, you have to do something to try to push people to continue to learn throughout life in a reflective way so that they will actually continue to move forward. So I'm going to move a little bit faster because I still have a case study. And there are two reasons Professor Amosun identified yesterday. The curriculum content in some jurisdiction may not be comprehensive enough. I don't think that is the case for our program here. So that is not a problem. The time allotted to teaching and the learning activities activities. Again, I believe that we have a rich array of activities for our program that should let us be ahead, and that is probably the attestation to some of the things that the head of the department was talking about. But irrespective of all of this, I still want to believe and say that no matter how great we think we are, there are areas that we have to continue to work on. Same thing, you come out, whatever, even as an expert, you need to keep that expert level by continuing to work on your competence, right? So we have to continue to highlight and deal with soft areas of our practice where I think most of our problems are. That's making it difficult for these novice therapists to actually advance their skill. And when I see physiotherapists going through the Canadian physiotherapy exam, first of all, a lot of people still want to read Irish physiotherapy. Do you still read Irish physiotherapy on the program? 12th edition. I think you should upgrade. Probably, and that is why a lot of our alumni visiting the department, they've donated books and stuff like that. I think the Irish physiotherapy is oversimplification. It's just like reading that green one for physiology. Yeah. So, that is very easy. I can do it. So based on everything that I've said so far, I will actually make you the judge of how well you think the program has actually trained us. If this is all you just have to know to be a novice physiotherapist, anywhere about it. Okay? So I'm going to quickly go over a small case study just to point to the communication and collaborative role, just to give you a small taste of what it takes in a team. And I'm using a neuro example with MSK to eat a little bit. And I also want to say quickly also that physiotherapy is like a well-prepared cake. In Africa, what we do most of the time is we bake the cake and we don't bother too much to put a lot of stuff on top of it. And these other people, they put strawberry or vanilla sweet on top, but the physio, the main thing physio is the cake. Wow! If you eat just the cake, you'll be fine. So this case, I just gave an age to somebody with Parkinson's disease that presented to your neuro program, and the patient has been dealing with this condition for a while. So let's say 10 years. They've been using L-Dopa, cinnamon for the treatment, and it's worked for them well. But what they notice now, or the family solution, is towards the end of the day and in the morning, the patient is finding it difficult to do activities. And that has resulted in falls. And the patient probably thought he's had some problem with the knee before, but 2 weeks ago, due to another fall, he's having pain to the right knee. So that is basically the story of the client. But because of the past medical history, the patient also has a lot of cardiac issues, a cancer survivor, prostate cancer survivor. Because of the heart issue and atrial fibrillation, the patient is on medication for that. So they're taking warfarin because of the flutter or the breathing issues. They are also taking medication for pain, but you need the Tylenol that they're taking, which is same thing as paracetamol. It's just a PRN thing. So when you need it, just take it. If you don't need it, you're okay, type of thing. And because they are on warfarin, they are going for blood tests to make sure that the level is okay. So the last lab test is saying that the score was, the report was 1.5, so they brought that in for you. You look at their medication, you check their labs, and you also did just the story. Just not having anything more than this, or even after your exam, after your assessment, what are the opportunities? What are the collaborative and communication opportunities that you have from this case with the rest of the team? There will be a lot. The patient, if they present with Parkinson's disease, with all of these past medical histories, cardiac issues and stuff like that, which is pointing to metabolic syndrome, you will be able to collaborate with the nutrition, the dietitian, with the pharmacist, with the MD, with the occupational therapists, all sorts of other professionals. But let's just focus on the MD and the fact that we usually place them elevated and stuff like that. Let's just focus on that particular profession for a moment. And the collaborative opportunity that we have here will point to things like, let's look at the medication. Who's supposed to do the medication part? The physio or the doctor? Well, the doctor already did the medication part. They did the prescription. So, what is wrong with it? No problem. And also the lab. Is there any collaborative opportunity with the lab? Nah, the INR was 1.5, so that's good, right? So you're looking at things like this. The patient had some knee issue before. Now they fell, they probably banged the knee. Did the patient fracture that knee? Do we know? Is there any radiological thing to confirm anything here? Could it also just be aggravation of the knee? Some sprain, strain, yeah, it's possible. So if you look at this, you're looking at some of these and say, well, how do I collaborate with the rest of the team? If my Parkinson's disease patient, having been on sediment for about 10 years, is not doing very well in the morning, not doing very well towards the end of the day, I'm thinking already, is it on and off phenomenon? Are they already having end of dose or responsiveness or tapering off of response at the end of the dose and things like that. So, can I suggest to this physician to say if the cinnamon 2 times per day at 1800 and at 8 could actually be shifted? Can this patient take the medication 3 times per day? Will it be better? Yeah, probably. And if my medication dosing starts at 6 in the morning, will the morning care be better? Probably. Will it be easier if they take the medication towards the end of the day? And can I suggest that to the physician? So these are opportunities, but a lot of people say, oh, we are doctor over now, so why would I suggest that to my doctor? The INR they presented is 1.5. I'm already seeing there is suboptimal thinning of the blood there. Can I send the patient back to the doctor and say, hey, this blood is not thin enough? Can we look at the dosage of the warfarin? Oh yeah, why not? And this knee, is it a case of worry? Should I worry too much? Do I have an occult fracture from that 2 weeks of fall? I don't know. And based on your assessment, based on the pain, and the gait pattern and what you see, if you suggest to the doctor and say, can we have an x-ray if you don't have the privilege, say, like here. So can we ask the doctor, say, can we just take an x-ray and see? So, but the patient didn't come to you with all of that. They brought the Parkinson's disease to you and they want to have more function. So, but you're addressing the need. You're looking at INR. You're looking at things that they didn't even bring to you to start with. That is, but it is all related to you being able to do your job. So if I'm doing great activities and I'm doing balance, retraining and stuff like that, I'm going to probably need some more. And then you can I use it?
You will not be able to be a reflective practitioner. Again, we should not just, act as, what normally obtains in practice. I know what I am doing. I've been doing these things since we were born. That is not the case. We should allow our practice to be moldable. We should allow our practice to be flexible. And we should also ensure that we engage in collaborative practice. It's unfortunate though, from what Dr. Hamza talked about, it is not just enough for us to know that, okay, we need to collaborate. We still need the members of the health team to be willing to collaborate. If I'm willing to collaborate, for instance, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know I need the inputs of another healthcare provider, but if that other person is standoffish and the person feels that, look, you can't teach me what to do, I know what I'm doing. That's fine, that's something I have observed in practice. But even then, as physiotherapists, fortunately, well, one of my project students is doing something about knowledge attitude and belief of students about interprofessional education. If we don't engage collaboration at the undergraduate training period, by the time they now become professionals, it becomes very, very difficult for us to collaborate. I thank you so much for this presentation. Does anybody have any questions or any comments?
I want to say that the major problem of our practice is the fact that this requirement for competency from one level to another is virtually absent. Yes, recently the postgraduate college was launched, and I pray and I hope that the college will address this issue, because when we were running the trainer, what do you call it? Train the trainer, I emphasized this, that it is about acquiring skills, and we should be prepared. And this is part of the preparation. I want to say that he was one of those we consulted when we were revising our curriculum, and he gave us very good advice. Thank you very much. The other issue which I want us to take home, because I know we are from different departments, is that we should make it a routine when we are seeing patients in our department or clinics for the first time, especially those in public hospitals, to also order their hospital files. What he's saying you cannot get from small referral notes. We should routinely order patient hospital files so that we will have all the necessary information. Sometimes the problem with functional movement will be drop the interaction. There's another problem. Do we really have true teams in our healthcare system? No, we don't. Even communicating with patients, I remember sometimes ago when my daughter was to see somebody in the staff clinic, and I said, don't come back to me without knowing what is wrong with you and why you are giving the drug. So after seeing her, she then asked, what's the diagnosis? What's wrong with now? Why are you giving the drug? The doctor was, how dare you? He says, my mother said I shouldn't come back to her without the information. So the doctor had no choice but to tell her, to give her the information. We don't communicate adequately. And I always tell students that if you ask a patient to do the particular movement 10 times, the patient must be convinced that the movement will help. So you have to communicate better than take your drug. Whether you like it or not, once the drug is taken, it is okay. So we have that issue. Our communication must be excellent. I have a challenge, and I've always told my students in communicating issue with patients, I have been sentenced to pediatrics by my department in clinical teaching, courtesy of those who are not ready to go that direction. Even though I protest, they tell I must stay there. I have a particular challenge, ethically, I have problem telling parents of patients with progressive muscular dystrophy that the children's condition will grow progressively worse. I have always told students, help me. I don't know how to say it. Each time I come across children with this, I want to say, but I look back. I have that challenge. How can I tell a mother of a 10-year-old child with progressive muscular dystrophy that the child's condition will grow progressively worse without discouraging mother from taking care of the child? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for the comment too. First of all, I want to say this. I don't think the doctors alone are guilty of the offense that I charged you with. Or in my discussion, I talked about a few things relating to that collaboration. What we should do as physiotherapists is this. We want to lead by example. We know that the tide of revolution is that wind is blowing. So I want to know how many times in your various teams that you've had conferences among yourself to talk about patients and see how your junior colleagues, how they are dealing with their caseload. So tell us about, you present about your low back pain and tell me the approach that you're using. So is it McKenzie approach? And why are you using extension exercise in that situation? Well, why not lateral approach before you use extension exercise? I'm struggling with that extension. Why can't you downgrade the force and start with unloading before you load the patient? No, it's neuro. And they presented everything and they are struggling with that upper extension that is refusing to go. And you're now talking about strategies to deal with that upper extension of the knee in an hemiplegic patient that is just walking and the knee is not bending and they're also having hyperextension, increased tone and stuff like that. When was the last time that we did that? So again, that is a challenge for all of us to say, even we're going to start with our team. Not only that, we're going to make the patient the most important part of that team. Because most of the time, about who? You're talking about them. Who should be there? Like, who are you talking to them? They should know about what you're talking about. And then it's time to go with mama discharge, you're going home. We don't know the accessibility of their home. We don't know whether our home is ready. And there is a lot of anxiety, caregiver anxiety. We did not prepare them for any of this. You are able to do your own role, take them for a walk, a patient and stuff like that because of your education. And you think that should be easy, mama, and you're like, how? So you bring them in. My patients are always there, family members, when I'm treating my patient, I'm like, come on in. Because who is going, it is a new practice, who is going to do the treatment? It's family member because there is no money for them to go and see physiotherapists all the time. But now going to that question. It is not about that particular condition alone, but everything that we do. Because for most of our stroke patients that will not come to therapy, it is because after trying and the gait is not improving and the function is not improving, they give up and then they say, we're just going to go to church or we're going to go to see the herbalist or something, because again, we're not preparing them enough. If after my assessment, I give you the summary of my assessment, these are the key findings in that assessment. These are the things that I think will change. This is how long I think it will change. this is how long it will take me for it to change. If it's not going to change after so many treatments, I'm going to reassess and I'm going to tell you at that time where we're going. So, you're going to Lagos. I'm not going to be telling you every time and say, hey, that's the way to the Lagos, let's keep going. No, don't go to that time. This is the way to Lagos. I first give you the plan from here to Lagos even before you move. So already you know I know the way to Lagos. But if I'm telling you, I'm a reader, we'll find out on the way. I'm a babe. You already say, I have only 2 hours to get to Lagos. I don't think I'll follow you. You look for another driver. So I think we should work harder in educating people, because our culture entails that if things will not improve for the better or the best, it is a bad omen. So we're dealing with the cultural issues. So people want the best. They want things to get better. And they don't want things to, but what is it that, so if we break it down and we say, Mama, any day for the form you see, will that be a sign of progress for you from your own perspective? They say, yeah, all right, let's work on that. So once I get that for you, you give me another goal. So if I come on learning, right? Okay, we can work on that. But you know what? Walking from here to the market or supermarket would not be a reasonable goal. What about if he walks in the house and things like that? But if we can maintain what they have for a long time in people that will progressively go down, and we are going to do a lot of PR job to spin it and for that goal. If we don't do physio, in 2 months, but if you do physio, all along in 5 years, that's better. You know it's better. So that way. But education is what is going to do it, because we're not fighting them. They don't have money. So let me give you another example. I'm practicing with chiropractors. Chiropractors will just crack your back. They are just osteopaths and this chiros. Their story and stuff like that is in that red Professor Luga's book. Okay. So they will just crack your back, and people will continue to go from childhood till they die. They just go all the time. So the chiropractors will crack them, and if they can't fix the problem, they say, we have a physio in the clinic, just go to him. I think it's a muscular problem. So they come to me, and the first question is, how many treatments? They don't want to pay for that. So it makes me mad, because if you go to this chiro for like 2 years, you really ask how many treatments. And you ask me that question the first assessment. So again, it is not just that particular situation, it's all the time. And if they give you that benefit of doubt, you want to use that opportunity to kind of, first of all, bring yourself down. You're not the expert. The mom is the expert. The patient is the expert. It's what they tell you that will make the job good. So if you present yourself like that, you're ready to listen to them, you're ready to solve their problem. In fact, some of them, the discussion that you're going to have to allay their fear is enough treatment. They will keep coming because they know you are confident. They know the husband already said, take him. They can't talk to nobody in the family. You are able to you can listen to them, they will listen to you. Because probably you're the only person in the whole universe that is listening to them anyways. So that is my take on that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Musa, for your very interesting discussion. So we are all moving. Just like you said, your college is already doing some revision. But as an undergraduate coordinator for academic program, I have a question which I wanted to know. What areas do graduates have problems in passing exams in Canada that you think if you do something about it, it will help them better? I know that passing exam, there are many factors in passing exam. Then Professor Tiki answered, I was thinking, what Dr. Ausat is telling us is something the whole physiotherapists in Nigeria needs to listen to. clinical reasoning, communication in practice, and all of the things that surround our practice. I think we need this talk in the fuller house, where we would, unfortunately, I think a lot of people thought this is just a bad thing, and so they're doing their things. But I feel if we had a number of physiotherapists here, they would have learned a lot. Dr. Odole was in the UK sometimes, and she had a training on shoulder dysfunction, management of shoulder dysfunction. Those are skills. And these are the things that we could help ourselves, to entrench in ourselves and in our system to help us. So I wish we can have Dr. Musat back in the full house to discuss this kind of thing that is very, very relevant to our practice. I don't know if the NSP president has gone, but it would be nice for him to hear this. And Reverend Jaismi, who is the registrar of the postgraduate college, so that in as much as we are singing our praises and we are doing well, we can move further. And we can say that, when I listened to Professor Abusu yesterday, he said, from what Caribbean is doing, they have adjusted the program to suit South Africa, and said they adjusted the development of WHO to suit South Africa. Then I'm beginning to think, what are we adjusting in NSP to suit Nigeria? If we have a fuller house for this kind of talk, I think it will help all of us. Thank you very much.
In my small experience, it's not long, probably some 14 years that I've been doing this job of mentoring international physiotherapists. And I have so many students from India and all over the place, Philippines, Nigerians, and stuff like that. One area that I think we have to focus on, because I do neuro practice most of the time, and I'm in MSK practice too. I think, looking at, because if we look at all the components of the exam, about 15% is neuro. Another 15% is cardio. So that's 30%. Some 10% is everything else. And 60%, 60, is MSK. And that is where our problem is. I said that because if you look at neuro, and the fact that we're from the Bobart school of thought and stuff like that, our neuro is not bad. No, it's pretty good. Yeah. Cardio, yeah, there are a lot of patchy work here and there that is moving that area of practice forward, but what we got is not bad. No. So I will have the right attitude. Yeah. Patient care, how are you going to do this and that? But the MSK is a huge area. Also, for example, we don't do total hip replacement here, not a whole lot. We do a little bit. People go outside, they come back, and we don't do total knee replacement, total shoulder replacement, things like that. But for what we do, if people come and say, it's tennis elbow, will anybody go and look at their neck? And you be treating the neck? No! But we know that a lot of tennis elbow is central sensitization. So, what about if it is a reticular pain from the neck? So, again, that is what the exam is actually testing. And we don't have the exam. That also, you have all these schools, they teach you all sorts of things. We think it's standardized. It's not. What they're teaching them in the new is not what you're teaching here. So, then if there is a national exam that is standardized, I don't care. You can go to Timbuktu and come back and write the national exam. Even Canadian trade are writing the national exam. Only their pass rate is 98%. And our own is like a little bit better than 50% at first attempt. So, I think that is where the main problem is, will be things like that. There are some of our colleagues now that could not integrate into practice because you need to learn and start running. Because you are anchoring a lot of program and they really believe you can do it, and they'll give you that benefit of doubt, but you cannot make mistakes. You have to learn like this and you're on it. So that is where the problem is. Physiotherapists, like Dr. Sonny will always say, you walk or move positive with confidence. So you need to be confident to move the bus. You do need to be confident. Yeah, so we have to train them to be like that. And they are going to be ambassadors for the profession when they go out. I need to have that confidence that if my mom, my dad has a problem, I say, so-and-so is the physiotherapist, I say, yeah, go ahead, I can trust her. Can you trust everybody that are your colleagues? So it is very important that that is what the profession is doing. To say, you know what, if I turn my back like this, I know my back is okay. So, because if you have a knee thing, and somebody brings the knee to you, and all you're doing for how many ever visit is infrared and no simple exercise. Well, I don't know about your training. If you don't have time and you're pressed for the time, give the exercise and don't do the infrared. So that is the most important thing. We have to go back to the basics, and we have to go back to what works. Thank you.
The question I want to ask is about the interpretation of the certificates that are being given to us in Nigeria, and then the conversion to the international community. There was a time I was going, online, and I saw the way they assess the certificate in Nigeria, and I was a bit confused that the way they rate our certificates is like they will tell us that if you graduated from UI in 19-something to 19-something, it is this. If you graduated in UI from 2000 to this, it is this. And then in some other universities, how come that complex? What's the problem we have? And how can, since our HOD is here, how can the new system help us to take care of this? For example, there is somebody that graduated from this new, the private university, and presented a certificate in the international community. Because of the way it's being interpreted, it was accepted more than somebody finishing from UI or Unilag. Why do we have that complexity? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the most important thing again to look at here is this. So when I finished and we were to do curriculum or credentialing in Canada, that was the problem that we faced. And the people that went to Canada before me, so Funshaw that the head of the department mentioned this morning. Oh, well. So, Funshaw, Bayo Origi, my classmate, these people went to Canada a little bit ahead of myself, and they were asked to make up for something. But they finished from UI. They did everything that I did. So when I applied, I said, you asked for so, I think we did it in so course. You asked for this, I think we did it here. So, and then we now unbundle our transcript. Because our transcript will just say, clinical and surgical condition. I said, what is this clinical and surgical condition? So, they could not interpret. In fact, when I applied to do my master's, they said, wow, we're going to give you a probationary status. If you pass 3 courses, then we're going to admit you fully. And I said, which part of first class don't you understand? Because that's a distinction. So if it is a fail, we use it, we don't understand this failure. Do a probation. If you pass, we'll take it. Because we don't think you really failed. So again, it is they could not interpret the transcript that were given them. And whatever you put on the paper is just like an exam, that's what they look at. Now the program, the curriculum there has transited to a master's level curriculum, and they are not thinking of DPT now like the United States. They are actually staying put based on the discussion that I'm following. But the problem is, at the master's level, you're not doing the same thing as bachelor's level. So no matter what you do in your curriculum, a physiotherapy graduate from this program will struggle in Canada because a master's level is still not bachelor's level. I don't know the difference, but it's still not the same. That is how they are interpreting it. So what I think our program should do is, the head of department is already doing a good job in Nigeria. You have to extend your tentacle outside. You have to have more collaborations with outside universities. You already have a lot of brilliant lecturers. Let them go out on attachments to see how to other people's lab. Some of these labs will have funding to say, come and work in my lab for 2 months. And then you're going to do a small project within that 2 months. And they say, wow, these Nigerian people are something else, you won't go along. So then, if another graduate comes, they say, you're from Nigeria? From UI? Oh! And then, based on the recognition of the people they already saw, you're going to have a smoother ride. So if you do all of that, they will understand what we put on paper, and the things that they couldn't understand, they will make it up for the people they already saw. So I think that is the problem.
Some have rights on the line. It is true that people use other people's stats. It is true. My average as an undergraduate was 60% remedial this year. This guy's average was 71%. So who was using whose stat? Then you look at the head of the two of us. Who has a share between the two of us? So
one has stress for money.
And then who is using whose stat? This guy went from Ibadan to Maiduguri, from Maiduguri to Nnewi, from Nnewi to Kuwait, and then from Kuwait to Canada. So who is using whose stat between the two of us? Why didn't he divide his brilliance and then give me part of it? Nuruddin Hamzat in Canada is a big man, he's a big guy in university. I'm telling you, all physiotherapists in Canada. We didn't read the citation when he started. Apart from having been involved in mentoring internationally qualified physiotherapists in the whole of Canada, he maintained a private physiotherapy clinic where people land and then they go to learn the role before they even put up to write the examination. So you can see this is a start. As an undergraduate, and I can talk about it, I just finished with Tuturi. He was involved in many things. He was a good guy, but he doesn't like Catholic. How many Catholics are here? Because he was Alexander Brown goalkeeper, and he played in KSS 2004, and then he considered 7 goals.
7 One was in penalty.
One was in penalty. And that doesn't include the fact that he was a very good goalkeeper. And who was using whose staff? In my class, Dr. Sonny had a way of graduating us when he was asking questions. Although for Dr. Akipen it was very easy. You have homework every class. You have homework, and then she will ask you better in class. And when Professor Dede Abusu, he start and then one was also start to clap his hands like this for you. You know that there is something like that. Dr. Sonny will ask questions and then you say, answer 1, that's me. They are very well from Oyo. Answer 2, that's no clue. Once he raises it like that, so that's the gradation. And if Shepard doesn't go in, then nobody will. That's the best truth. Shepard went to do a lecture where they were doing postmortem Monday in pathology. They were asking, the pathologist was asking questions about the possible cause of death. He has dropped that at the plan. Shepard started doing like this, and he counted 9 possible causes. And the pathologist said, Did I say I was asking Reg any question? I said I'm not a Reg, I'm an undergraduate student. In what in physiotherapy, you think we are joking here? That's the kind of brilliant guy that we have here. The reason why he can't talk much is because he has money. People who have money will talk. They don't talk much. And you can't be in Canada and talk much. But I have a question. Which is the question is that, can I make money as a Nigerian trained physiotherapist if I come to Canada? I'm asking on your behalf. Then number two. You make money so that I'm sending money home, send cars.
Oh yeah.
You make money. I need to know condition of service there. When I get there, it's going to be better.
Oh yeah.
Then number two, do I need to pass any exam? Because Dr. Ojunaya is true, it might be difficult to get him to speak to a full hour. Number one, it's not into the NFP mainstream politics. So to be a long time before to get to his team. And then, sir, before you be invited, before you be rotated, zone to you, before you be zoned to you, because everything in Nigeria will zone it. The second reason why I want to ask you is that you talk about the national exam. Let me call your attention to the fact that the issue of CP that we talked about, Continuing Professional Development Program, we are modifying it and we are getting it wrong. In Abuja, September last year, the Registrar of MRTV said they are trying to develop something that they will post on their website that you can even do the theory, CP, and then you get your math, and then what would be your advice to us concerning that? And finally, let me also tell you that part of the problems that we're having around it include the fact that, because we have several problems, that do the people we are working with in the health sector, do they even have an idea of the scope of our practice? That's a big challenge. There's still a lot of cultural issues coming up around it. There is one big organ, and then every other person is around you. But the unfortunate thing there is that it is quite select. Hey, I'm a fantastic surgeon. Who is a physiotherapist? I don't need to refer my patient. But when my mother is in need of a physiotherapist, I will not think twice before I tell that neurologist to refer my mother to physiotherapist. So it's not as if you don't know. I think part of the problem is because there is no penalty. There's nobody breathing out the neck of professionals in this country and say, how come this patient is not getting better? You are a gynecologist, you did a surgery, there's a little problem. Why don't you call a neurologist? Why don't you call a physiologist? Why don't you do a multi-pronged approach to doing it? And finally, I want to affirm that Nuruddin Hamzat is one of the people who have been supporting this department since the department. His supporting role was so high at one point that the former head of the department, Professor Soya, said anytime she pets, that's what we call it, needed anything from the department, he would not have to pay for it. And he was also able, when he was coming, he was able to gather some of his guys and collected for us about $850 to support the program. So he's been supporting. But I challenge him that he still needs to go back and tell his people. No, the boss, you don't have to do that. No, really, no, don't give us boss, really, no, there's no need. Give me 2 big crowd, then I'll have people using it for business or whatever. I mean, we will make money from that. My request, apart from the question that I'm asking, is that please help us to establish the Physiotherapy Alumni Chapter in Canada. Please. One of these days we will come. You don't have to sponsor us. Many of us travel around, they will come and have a meeting and tell you how far we come. So that's Dr. Hamzat Nuruddin Tunde, Secretary Worldwide. He has a title in Secretary Adini Worldwide, not just in Nigeria. And then apart from the boardness, he had no seat of distance. He cannot see from distance again. The story was telling you what we used to do for clinical posting. Don't try to do it. Is that the way program used to run 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. every Tuesday. So what we used to do was to listen to Greg Adeboye and then before we go to clinic. And then one day, Dr. Hussein got to clinic 8:15. And it was only with him. You see that because he's not a good guy. Anyways, so there's no way you can probably bring Adeboye. So and then the HOD was marking as we were coming. We had good training from this place, really. We had good training. And there's no doubt that our training on academic training is very rich. Otherwise, when he got to Kuwait, he got there and started working with the university. When he got to Canada, he started working with the university. If the foundation was not good, there wouldn't have been anything to build on. But the foundation then, we want things to improve much better. Thank you. Especially for accepting to do this presentation. I was just telling Dr. Dolly, it was Sunday night that we changed the name of the person that was supposed to come. It was Mr. Onoshoroti from Germany. And then they have flight issue. And we were told Shepard was in Nigeria Sunday afternoon, and then we decided to substitute it for this presentation. So answer my question. If I come to Canada today, will I make money? And why do I need to pass it?
We make money. Yeah, thank you very much. And for all the enquiry, you're still the only base. With regards to making money, yes, you will. You will make money. The only difference between Canada and here is, like my prof said, up till now, I'm still the base or what is the lowest level of your cadre here for staff physio. So you're going to continue to be physiotherapy, whatever is the base thing, forever. There is not a lot of promotion like that. You're going to get more money and stuff like that, but you're going to carry the same case load, so your skill is not going to drop. That's when one of our police wanted to come. I said, you should do a principal physio, chief physio, what do you call it now? Better go and start treating patients. So that is going to be very, very important, because again, we're talking about experience, we're talking about physiotherapy experience. It's not managerial or administrative experience.
Can you repeat that?
We're talking about physiotherapy experience. It's not managerial or administrative experience. So, no matter what you do, you carry your caseload. So that is one thing. So you're going to work for that money, no matter what it is. So, but you're going to make as much money as you really want to. So that's number one. Number two, there is an exam, and the exam is a little bit tough. The exam is harder than the US exam. Because for US exam, in fact, most of us that have dual licenses, we pass the US exam like nothing. This is very easy exam. But Canadian exam, because you do the written exam, you pass, and then you do the clinical exam that is 4 hours, 16 stations of simulated cases. And you have patients that are simulated to do whatever they want them to do, and you have an examiner that is rating you and stuff like that. And you need to pass about 12 stations minimum. You need to not have any safety issues. So if you treat a patient and you don't support them very well, or put a transfer there, or you make them fall or something, automatically they're going to fail that exam. That's it. So even if you pass everything else, you're going to fail the exam. But if you do minor safety issues, you can only do 3 out of all the 16 stations. 3 minor safety issues. You cause a little bit of pain for patients. It has to be minor, probably you forgot and you did minor stuff. But if you forget the brake on the wheelchair, or the patient is supposed to use a walking aid, so partial weight bearing, and they say, Mama, I think you want to just show me, I know walking aid. So those are are major safety issues. So if you do more than 3, you will fail the exam. So, and you need to get all 3. So safety, you need to pass 12 stations, and you need to also pass a cutoff mark. That cutoff mark is on a non-reference criteria, in which case they're going to take all the Canadians that are writing the exam the first time and take the mean score. And then they want 1 or 1.5 standard deviation away from that mean score. That's the passing score. I think it's still generous. Yeah. So that is the passing score. So you need to have all 3 to pass the clinical exam. So if you don't, then you have to receipt. And if you do it 3 times, they will advise you that another profession will be better for you, like carpentry or something. So you have to make 3 attempts at the exam. Any other one like this?
I'm sure you agree with me that we all enjoy this presentation. And still,